Greetings, once again, forever again, in the dark, dark lands of Barovia that refuse to release our heroes until the deed is done or their lives are extinguished. The last time they came to the town of Krezek, found them suspicious of outsiders, though having recently received wine, a little more willing to allow them in. The group then, after coming in contact with a magical lake that reached out to Irina specifically, made their way to an abbey that also stands adjoining Krezek, where they were introduced to creatures, human and beast, that escorted them to the master of the abbey, known as the abbot, who graciously took in the weary travelers that were our heroes and introduced them to a place to stay. He also enlightened them on his goal of breaking the curse of the land with love. Love in the form of a perfectly constructed bride. He was further questioned on this by Sasha and newly met Esmeralda de Avenir, as the rest of the group, Crack, Siguror, Ismark, and Irina, went to see what they could do about the hint that they got about the graveyard from within Strahd's castle, successfully doing so in finding a magic ring. As we meet back, the group prepares to rejoin and discuss their findings.
So, I have discovered that the abbot is not human, but I suppose I will extrapolate on that. Tell me what you have found.
We have found what was in the grave, more the gravestone. Pull out the ring, put it on the table.
Pick it up.
A shaft of light shone down upon it. It must be special.
We also heard the priestess's voice after we gave the emblem back.
Perhaps it was her spirit.
I hope she knows freedom at least.
I'll nod. I will work my magics upon it. And but a moment.
Out of character, where's this discussion taking place?
Probably in our room.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Then I'm going to say, before you hit the room, since it's on the way, you'd asked to Esmeralda to show you the other place and, try to confirm whether or not it was what you saw. And I'll say before you guys hit your room, since it's on the way, you're able to go up. And, yeah, this is totally, you see the cloth, which obscures likely something, well, I don't know, and other implements. And so you're positive this is the teleportation place, and it is within the appropriate
Cool.
space.
Then I am going to. It's within 100 feet?
Yes.
Okay. Then I will spend a 4th level spell slot to cast Mordenkainen's Private Sanctum, giving it 24 hours of everything it does, but in particular, no teleportation, so Strahd can't use the fire to teleport here. And I will say, before we speak, I must make mystic preparations.
Well, you had a little bit of time, because they had to come back from the graveyard, which is out.
Well, then I will tell Esmeralda that before they return, I must prepare mystic defenses against teleportation.
And on the way back, it is worth noting that there's more than a couple times where the group catches glimpses of hunched cloth figures that kind of spare a bit of a look at you as you pass by, but then settle back down to wherever they are. They don't interact with you or anything.
Just throughout the place, not just outside or something?
In a couple of places outside, and then there's a portion of the outdoors that you have to pass through, because you get through one of the doors and into the structure, then back out to get back where you're going.
In the center of the entire place?
Yeah.
Wazye, Yakahaboi, Rantagath, Kutuhath, Rantagath, Rantagath. And I will finish casting the spell. And yeah, I'll bring up a Mordecai's private sanctum. And then once they enter, I will say what I said to them. And then continue as I say, the abbot is a deva.
A what?
An angel. It's a celestial from the high plane.
That's good, isn't it?
No, that is not good because the abbot is very sick in the head.
Well, he claims to have created something from not a corpse.
He took parts of corpses that he had dug up, I suspect. I don't care in the vision, did I see that he said mongrel folk to do it? I can't remember
I
exactly.
think one of the visions was him in a
Well, I didn't
store.
elaborate as much as I could have, and may have said some things that are not true because I am eternally making mistakes. You did get at least a couple of scenes of mongrel folk dragging bodies back to him,
Because
as
I
well
thought
as some
you
shots
had
of
some.
him crazed and in the rain.
Now, what do you mean you were wrong about something?
There are some mistakes that I made last time. It's not super important. I can probably cover it by having taken liberties and enhancing the story, because I will also do that willingly.
Okay.
So you'll never know, except for that blog, David's Mistakes.
Anyway, I will say his first attempt involving the creation of what I can only assume is a flesh golem through the robbing of graves. Their bodies, pieces were dug up and stitched together. I believe that is the creature I saw under the cloth. Sahar saw, and I will pet Sahar. He says he has then abandoned the process and created a golem, but to my eyes, she is still a flesh golem. Perhaps he made the corpse pieces out of nothing, thinking that actual pieces of dead bodies were ineffective for his attempt. I do not know.
So this celestial has the power to create life from nothing.
Well, celestials have power to restore life to the dead. They can resurrect the fallen without the complex magics that mortals need to do so.
But the second is gold.
Yes, because he was creating life from nothing, and how you do that is through the creation of a golem. Additionally, its mind appears fractured, wrong. This could be the effect of attempting my particular brand of magics on a golem, but I would imagine in most situations it just wouldn't work. Because out of character, I'm pretty sure Detect Thoughts just doesn't work on golems normally. Well, I think it works on flesh golems, but it doesn't work on clay golems. So I assume that's why it worked on her.
Constructs.
I'm not going to respond out of character, but in character, Esmeralda's going to say, that's how I've heard it explained.
Yes. For example, a stone, clay, or iron golem I could not use my particular brand of divination on. But for this one it worked, and there was something very wrong with her essence.
Is it a threat?
I do not think so, but the abbot is convinced that his way is the only way that will work. He believes that attempting to kill Strahd is fruitless, and that the only way to stop his curse is by handing over a bride suitable to him. I have tried to explain to him that Strahd has many brides.
At least 3.
Yes. At least 3, and attempted to take a 4th.
He was very confident that his creation's perfection would supersede any of his previous behaviors.
In my experience, once men have gained a taste of that sort of life, they don't willingly go back to the way it was before. My master told me of an acquaintance of him and let's just call it a nymph addiction. regardless, that is irrelevant to what we're talking about right now, which is that this man has great powers and could be dangerous. He believes that the only one who can solve this is him. He might not attack us, but...
What if his plan were to fail? Do you think he'd be a threat to us then?
I don't know. It's possible. He's so convinced of his righteousness. If he fails, there's no telling how he could react.
He may attack Strahd on sight.
He is convinced that killing Strahd will not solve anything. I do not think he can be convinced of changing his mind. He strikes me as one who is 100% absolute in his convictions. As something that is not mortal, he has probably not been wrong often, and not had to face the realities of mortal mistakes. I think this place has done something to him. I think
He may be stuck as well.
it's possible. I would ask why he would not just leave instead. Perhaps he's incapable.
Likely so. What's more, I have heard things about this abbey's history. That this is known as a cursed place, though. Well, considering what we have found here, perhaps it is.
I had heard that was the land itself.
Well, of course. But the land is home to numerous curses. I've heard that this abbey in particular was once home to a great number of people under Saint Marikova who attempted to defy Strahd, but they met with failure. While it is not known to me what happened to them afterwards, given that I have found no trace of them here, I would imagine it was not pleasant. I didn't risk questioning any of the locals, given that they are known for not letting in outsiders at all.
Fair enough.
A few of them seem friendly enough, as long as you were offering to offer them odd, or things that they could consider foreign.
I feel like one of my kind would not have that option, even if they were willing.
Sasha will nod vigorously.
As I have seen.
Yes, well, I will cast my spell to see if the Sunblade is here, but it is a long shot, as it were.
If it is not, mayhap the ring is to lead us to it?
I will check the ring. Still, I think we should stay at least a night here. Of course, there is the question of the mongrel folk. Do you know how they came to be here? Or what they even are?
I do not. And their gibbering madness gives no clues.
Now, I had a question about the visions. There was a point where he was, walking in a place,
Yes.
and there were, banging and shutters and people yelling and stuff. Did they look like cells? Because it was kind of vague in the description when I was editing it, so I wasn't sure.
Kind of, in that they are a bunch of rooms, close together, but thinking about it, you're not sure that you saw, bars on the doors, so maybe not.
But did the banging sound like someone was trying to get out?
Or just hitting things randomly.
It didn't come in with enough clarity for you to tell.
Okay, alright, fair enough. Yes, it appears as if some parts of this place are particularly dangerous.
Are these mongrel folk broken? Or not right in the head?
No, they are not. I risked exploring this place somewhat, and any that I have encountered have proven between incoherent to dangerously disturbed. So I have left them alone.
Hunched,
But
usually covered in a cloth.
But the two that we saw were fine, more or less. One of them was very distrustful of us, but the other one could speak.
Also, Siegfried was the silent one,
Yes.
if I'm remembering correctly.
They seem, but I would not be surprised if they were not all they appeared themselves.
Mayhap magic of the Celestial.
Much more curiously, I don't think that the abbot keeps them here forcefully. Down below us, there's a large number of them, corralled into a long double row of rooms.
Holding cell?
That sounds like what I saw.
They didn't appear to be locked, but there is a golem down there. A hideous thing that I would much more rightly call a flesh golem that stalks its halls. I was not visible to the creature and didn't make myself known. I know that there are some others squirreled away in old sheds, but
So his attempts at golems have been numerous then.
at least twice. And out of character, the abbot did mention like he made a first attempt, and you got a vision of him like rejecting getting rid of one. You're like, oh, okay, that accounts.
The brain.
He made it sound like there was another golem that he kind of that didn't work. He didn't say I got rid of it. He said it didn't work, and he continued.
Right, okay. Well.
So it is probably ill-advised to correct the abbot on what our goal is.
I would say that is very ill-advised, yes.
Irina asks, is it possible he might have an idea already? It might be my imagination, but I feel like he's looked at me different than the rest of you. Like he takes offense to my presence. But certainly we've never met.
I'm hoping it does not turn out to be another Isaac.
I do not think so. If he was Isaac, he would have attacked immediately. That being said, if he has knowledge of your true nature, he could see you as a threat to his plan. Or as a key to his goal. Perhaps it is best that we do not stay then.
At this moment, there's a knock, like, not on the door, unless the door was closed. It's to the
Oh,
right.
absolutely.
Okay, then it's at the door, just like a light.
I'll get up and go to the door.
You get up. You go to the door. You open it, and you're face to face with the abbot. Ah, hello. Now, I've been thinking about any emotions, like, to get by you, unless you obstruct him. He says, I have been thinking about the matter that you brought to my attention of the boy, and I've been thinking that it actually would be more appropriate if I tended to it sooner rather than later.
Oh?
Yes. And you had requested to go with me, so
Yes, I
simply
had.
coming out of courtesy to let you know that I was going to pay my visit now.
Oh, okay. Well, then yes, let us attend to this.
You have the ring and pocketed it, or have it put it back on the table?
I have it pocketed.
Okay.
All right. I am departing now. If any of the rest of you wish to go along, then take care of that as you will.
Sure. I do not believe there's any other business to attend to here.
Really wish I'd wear his telepathic bond right now. Really.
Mayhap we find the locals in a better mood. If the abbot is there.
Yes, perhaps so.
He turns around, stops, and appears to listen for something. And then
Something the matter?
oh no, it's close to lunchtime, but I'm not hearing the bell. Perhaps Cloven is a little late. He doesn't look at his wrist. Perhaps Cloven is a little late.
Perhaps.
The others will be quite irritated with him if he is. Then again, some of them are quite inconsolable regardless. Out of character. How long is Detect Thoughts up?
A minute, unfortunately.
Okay. Then there's a bonus track scene. But he's though, or no, he finishes his sentence by going, so awful, such a shame.
Can dinner not happen without the bell?
No, I'm just thinking about something else. Dinner happens at the bell.
Lunch.
I'm sure to be taken care of.
Right.
And he continues his walk across the threshold, down the stairs. You can hear his feet on the steps.
Okay. I will head out, and I will say, you don't all need to come if you do not want to, of course.
I feel like I should at least go.
But, well, whatever you wish. I will step out front. I will, So it's like an hour down to the thing, right?
Maybe a little less.
Okay. Then the first 10 minutes are going to be conjuring a phantom horse, and the next 20 minutes of it, or the next 10 minutes of it, are going to be me casting Identify on the ring.
Okay.
Is Mark or Arena staying back? Or what about Esmeralda?
Esmeralda.
Ismark
Any favorite?
and Irina intend to go with you. Irina remarking, I feel as though I should be there for it, if only to see what he does, and maybe help if things go wrong. Ismark says, naturally, we've been this far along, I'm not going to sit out any part of the adventure I don't have to. Esmeralda says, Esmeralda considers real quick and says, it would be best if I were to stay here, but I don't have to.
That's up to you.
I'll be with you, just hidden from sight.
Okay.
I will start after you in a few moments.
I understand.
I'll do the same. Try to stealth.
Oh, follow stealth.
Yeah, if I could. I mean, if there's no way I could, then Crack will find out soon enough.
Ukabar Orbis Tertius. What's that ring?
It is a ring of regeneration.
Oh!
You don't say. As we're writing down, I'm going to look at it and be like, this hurts me so much.
Why?
And I'm going to turn to Siguror, and I will say, Siguror, I'll toss it to him.
Requires attunement?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, so put it on if I can get it to fit.
It's magic. It's resized to fit your finger.
Then tune to it appropriately. Whenever the time arises.
Takes an hour, so it won't be till after.
Yeah. Unfortunately, but now you have it. The group sets off, and there is a second group who stalls for a moment. Esmeralda turns to Crack. So, you like to stay hidden as well, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, man.
I warn you, I'm using my magic to do so.
Alright.
So, I'll have to do a little bit of extra work to keep up.
Mm-hmm. Alright.
Would you mind if I asked where you were from?
Yeah, the DMG.
Yeah.
It may be an unfair question, as you likely already know where I am from.
They're living far away from me.
Well, I've traveled. I might know it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you when I know you better.
That is fair. Hopefully I don't know it.
Mm.
A lot of places I know are dangerous.
Alright.
I typically go where other people can't.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm doing this, even.
Mm-hmm.
At least partly the reason. In fact, now that I think about it, I hope you're not from anywhere I've heard of.
Okay.
Anywhere I've been. Harsh.
Been to many places outside this area and place?
A few. There was a very nasty... It may seem pedestrian compared to Strahd, but there was a very nasty werewolf infestation in Sunrise County. At least that's what the locals call it.
Mm-hmm.
It's somewhere along Odwin's spine, if you... I think we've given them enough head start. She incants in a similar manner, I suppose. She incants in a similar manner and disappears. You know what invisibility is, so you're like, oh, okay.
For stealth. Really? 11. The lowest I can ever get.
Oh, you rolled a 1.
Yep.
There's a point where you're thinking, should I have started sneaking once I'm outside the abbey? Because I'm like in here and I'm ducking against like tables and shit. But you don't think anybody notices, but you also don't see anybody on the way out. There is a point where like you think you hear like the rattling of chains from the direction of like behind you when you look like nobody's there. You're like, no, I'm fine. Nobody can see you. As you prepare yourself, do your best for sneaking outside. The group moves down the path, this time with the abbot, who walks with a supreme calm about him and very graceful footsteps. When you reach the town, townspeople change upon seeing him. They assume, actually, it's similar to how townspeople interacted with the group of you if you were interacting with just anybody. People adopt a kind of more up straight but also defensive posture. There are people who clearly want to steal a glance at the abbot but don't dare. And there are a lot of people that begin moving whatever activities they were up to inside or dispersing as he walks. And that's just with him being within 8 feet or so of them, not him crossing them directly or anything like that.
Right.
Eventually, the group of you comes to a decently large house that you can hear some faint would sound like the faint noises of livestock out behind it. The abbot moves up and knocks lightly on the door, and after a moment he is met by a person who looks through the door. Is there something that I can help you with? He says, yes, I have business with the burgomaster. If you would please bring him to me and tell him that I shall alleviate his family's suffering. Yes. come in. And then the person like moves enough that you can see it's like a young man, maybe like 15, 16. He's pretty decently dressed. Maybe not as nice. If any of you have been around nobility outside Barovia, maybe not as nice as like your average noble, but his clothing's still like
Right.
up plus.
Yeah.
He seems to notice you guys behind him and look at the abbot, but the abbot says, "Oh no, they are with me. Do not worry." And then they move aside, and you're shown into a decently large receiving room, at least for like a 2-story house. It's no mansion, but it's okay. Eventually, the man that you saw before, followed by a taller woman, though maybe that the man is actually a little shorter than you thought now that you're like on the same plane.
Right now he's not on the wall.
Yeah. Come in together, and the man starts his speech cautiously, but with the regality expected of a noble. He says, Master Abbot, it's good to see you. What business could we do for you this day?" The abbot says, "No, it's the business that I will do for you. I have been told that you have recently lost your son, and I am here to rectify the situation. I demand that you unearth your son this instant and bring him before me.
He's gonna
I
raise him,
shall
that's right.
restore him to life." Are you serious? The woman says, "This is quite a generous offer, but certainly we have not made contributions or the man says, "It is no need. Guided by the Morning Lord's grace, I see no better purpose than to restore your son to life and restore the Krezekov bloodline. You are very important, and there are things that you are destined to accomplish still for his grace." They look at one another, and there's a bit of a silence before the man, Burgomaster, says, "Very well. It will take some time, but I will go." He turns and said, the abbot says, "Very good. I shall be here."
You would require assistance.
He looks. There's a moment where he's very clearly trying to calculate exactly what the best thing to say is here, but the game seems to like rip away the chance as the abbot says, "Yes, it will speed things up. Please, if you would." And the guy like nods. "I think there's a second shovel somewhere."
Oh, please, do not bother. Just show me.
I actually forgot you had that spell.
Cantrip.
Does he show me how back?
He this time like rolls with it and says, "Okay," and then motions like this way, and you are brought out back into a small plot of land that is lined with numerous fresh, as in like not ancient, like normal graves, and there's
So it's
one
like
that
recently, okay.
that is most fresh. The line of children that they have lost. You now get to
That's
confirm
a
with your
bummer.
own eyes they have lost as many, because it sounded high. It is high.
It's like 6, right?
I'd have to look again, but I know it's at least 5.
Bummer. So what Sasha's going to do is he's going to start pretty nonchalantly just lifting his hand, and as he does, he's going to start casting Move Earth. And then as he does it, he's going to think. He's going to communicate to Sahar, and he's going to ask, "Is Esmeralda watching?"
All right. As Sasha is beginning, it's not that you notice, but for any viewer's benefit, like when you pose that question, there's like a soft hoot. But from everybody else, it's just, or actually, it's a soft low hoot of like confusion.
Just tell me, is she watching?
Sahar, you feel Sahar like move a little bit on your shoulder, and you get like another like reinforced confused.
She's invisible.
Oh, right.
In character, you don't know that. So you're like,
Yeah,
come
I
on,
didn't know
man.
that.
Oh,
And out of character, everybody present is more focused on like what you're doing, but somebody playing the game would be all like, Sahar's flipping out on his shoulder. What's he doing?
Fine. And I will continue just lazily moving it out. Just
Magically, you part the earth. While they do embrace, they do so like standing forward with eyes focused on what you are doing, as if to face it head on, even though they're in support of one another. Ismark and Irina watch with equal mixes of curiosity and suspense. Eventually, enough earth is moved to reveal the lifeless form of a young boy.
it's not in the coffin. Damn.
Out of character, he might be.
Okay.
I won't rifle, but he might have been.
Seeger, if you would.
Reach down, basically try to pick him up, but try a position where its parents are looking directly at him, just because.
Actually, his father and mother like move up as you move up, and like
Okay.
they aid together. There's like a try, slowly moving it. And despite his small size, he is quite heavy, but like dead body heavy, not supernaturally heavy. And carefully, Siguror, along with his two parents, lift this body out and gently place it on some displaced earth.
Okay. And as he does this, I will, in one motion, go and just it all back.
That merits a look, but it is overshadowed by the abbot stepping forward and raising his hand, and immediately a blazing, radiant, golden light appears and then grows larger and wider, almost as if it's going to envelop the whole yard. You hear
Can I use my
a chorus
Can I use
of
my reaction to identify the spell with an arcana check?
Sure.
Okay.
You hear a chorus of angelic screams
I'll
as
do that.
his magic is worked.
Angelic screams, not singing?
No,
Huh.
angelic screams. But it's not like, it's weird. It's not like a normal screaming. It's almost like angry, or maybe determined, willful, but definitely not what you would imagine.
You will not resurrect this body.
Out of character, I think it might be the same thing that happened to my spells when I first got here. Remember?
You,
I cast Unseen Servant and it fucking came to life as a
You.
screaming spectral thing.
you as in Sasha, attempt to identify what's going on,
I got a 19, by the way.
peer beyond the veil, and you do just that. You're able to identify literally what the spell is, in that he's using Raised Dead, but you're able to see so much more. You're able to see the very tendrils of not just unlife, but this world, this place, viciously like grabbing into and clawing at the soul as it is pulled back. And even more, you can see like pieces rip off as it is drug. Like, almost like if somebody was like taking a steak and then somebody like stuck the knife in it. The person pulling is still getting the steak, but the knife is still ripping through that steak, and naturally a little bit is left behind. Or at least in the analogy it would be.
Right. No,
But that's not how the spell is supposed to work.
Yeah, it's not supposed to
Like,
work.
how much of the soul is like being ripped off?
In theory, none. And once the chorus of screams reaches a fever pitch, it then begins to descend, to soften in volume. The light recedes until both are no more, and the boy sputters to life. He coughs, he hacks, he looks around a little, and his mother
Give
like
the
pulls
father
him
a water
close
canteen,
and embraces him.
dirt,
His father
because he has probably dirt inside of him.
like also does this, and his expression changes from like the guarded one that he's been wearing this entire time to one overcome with joy as like he does the water, but he also says, "It's a miracle. My boy's been saved. The darkness of his line has been lifted. There were rumors, people who spoke ill of you, but I know now all of it is untrue. You are a blessing upon this place. If there's anything I could ever do to repay you, all you would need to do is name it." The abbot says, "Yes, it is a simple matter to work the good will of the Morning Lord upon those that are deserving, and you are deserving, greatly so, for what you have done here. However, I am in need of something, but I will let you be with your son for but a moment. I shall retire inside and we can discuss what it is that can be done for repayment in but a moment." The abbot then turns and like goes inside the house like real quick as the burgomaster like looks back down and like looks at the boy and says, "It's all right. You're fine now. You're going to be fine now." The boy like acknowledges this and then starts like kind of looking around. His mother asks, What's wrong? You're here. You're at home. You
What did you see, boy?
died." Boy like, "Who's that?"
I am Sasha. What did you see? On the other side.
The burgomaster says, "He is a traveler and a friend of the abbot who revived you." He doesn't seem to register this. He goes, "What do you mean what I saw?"
On the other side. What did you see?
Why do you ask? Who are these other people? Are they friends of the abbot as well?" His mother says, "Yes, they are. Go ahead and answer the question. Unless he is only recently back to life. Perhaps he is still in shock." Her husband says, "Yes. Could your questioning not wait?" Likely, the boy like starts shifting a little bit, like in his mother's grip. Not like he's trying to break it, but like he's uncomfortable. Maybe. As Burgomaster says,
Doctor roll insight on the kid.
"Wait." Sure.
Okay. 19.
Perhaps after lunch, though it is getting a little late. You look at this kid, and this kid seems jumpy. Like, it's really weird to imagine, like, why? Because, like, he's here, and he should be fine.
There's clearly something wrong.
But, like, he's oddly suspicious and kind of jittery.
So something happened to him on the other side, and he doesn't want to tell me? Is that the impression I'm trying to get? Or I'm trying...
It's possible.
It's possible. Okay.
Unless this kind of behavior is normal for him, which...
The mother saying that kind of implied that it wasn't, though. At least in Sasha's mind. So he's definitely suspicious, and he wants to know what happened to this kid. Because he already has suspicions about what happens to souls on the other side, and this kid can tell him.
And you also literally saw something going wrong
Yes, I
with
did.
the magic.
But I'm saying the reason Sasha is like, he's like, okay, I figured something was wrong before. Now I know that something is wrong. And I must find out.
It would be best
Almost as if that's part of my ideal or something.
It would be best if I saw what it was that the abbot desired. But there's food. Please. You can have whatever you want. It is an occasion worthy of celebration. His wife, gets up and also, gets the boy up, but, he also, she kind of, starts to, drag him up, thinking, he'll need his feet. But he takes his feet, on his own well enough. And he kind of, folds, and since you've been around some, actually, no, that doesn't make sense. I'm just going to say, he, takes his feet, and then, he immediately, doesn't take, a guarded stance. It's he's a kid, but he definitely, seems he's holding himself like something's up or something's gonna happen.
He's in a fight or flight mode, basically.
But his mother, starts guiding him and beckons to the rest of you. Lunch was almost ready, and I'm sure that more can be prepared given our guests.
Right.
Easily, no problem.
Okay, yeah, that's not weird or anything.
And the group of you are guided towards technically a different part of the house. It's not super huge, but the trajectory is a little different. Meanwhile, Crack was able to witness most of the whole thing. For reference, Crack came in at the part where the boy was being lifted up, and then got the casting of the spell and then the other stuff afterwards. And a voice whispers to Crack, "We should go see what the abbot and the burgomaster are going to talk about. And I would be careful. I think some people saw you on the way down."
Unfortunately.
If you want to give me a new stealth roll for the house.
Yeah. Please.
Better.
Yeah, better. 25.
That's a lot better.
Yeah.
That is gigantically better.
This is a house. It's got corners and shit. This is easier. It's probably the woods that screwed it up because there's a path. You could get into the trees, but there's rustling, and you feel pretty confident this time. Even better, there's a small study that the two are meeting in, and so it's a matter of getting in a position where you're obscured by the door and obscured by part of the hallway. Should be pretty safe. It is you and, in theory, Esmeralda, who witness their conversation. You come in at, as I said, eternally grateful. Anything at all, please. What is it that you wish?
Oh, these two are discussing it away from everybody else who is ushered to a different part of the house. Okay.
You're gonna have lunchtime and maybe a Q&A with the kid if the kid grows less suspicious of you. You hear the abbot's voice say, "Yes, there is something, and it is something of seemingly unimportance, but could be nothing that is further from the truth. I need a wedding dress. And being nobility, I'm confident that you can produce such a thing."
I have no idea how hard I wanted to be more than a woman.
It is not that we are ungrateful, but I am afraid that we did not dress in such fancy attire when my wife and I, were wed. I do not believe that there is such a dress here. Well then, procure one. It is the least that can be asked of you, considering the miracles that have been worked in your family's favor. Yes, Yes, of course. But it would take some time. It would prove a little difficult, but perhaps something can be done if given enough. And you hear the abbot cut him off. A month. You have a month to produce a magnificent wedding dress. And should you fail, the Morning Lord will not look kindly on such a slight. I understand completely. While we are mostly in ourselves, there's nobility in Valaki. Certainly they will be able to help. Or perhaps a dressmaker of some kind.
Oh no.
I care not how you do it. Simply within the time limit. I assure you that this land's benefit hangs in the balance. Yes, of course. Of course. The Morning Lord will be done. Excellent. Now, if you will excuse me, I have the Abbey to attend to. I will leave my guests in your charge. Make sure you treat them well enough. If they ask, tell them that I've merely returned. I desire not your food. Oh, of course. I will tell them. It is at the same time that the other group is around a table. Food has been brought, like a hot soup of some kind of vegetable nature. That there appears to be like some, like, if depending on who partakes, everyone is offered. There's some chicken in it.
Oh.
It tastes all right. The kid doesn't eat at first, and his mother encourages, please, you must certainly need your strength. He looks at soup and then kind of like touches it to the surface and like takes like a very, he gets a little bit off of it and then like maybe tries it again. His mother turns to everyone else and says, I hope it is to your liking.
It is delicious, thank you. Once it gets pretty late on, Sasha doesn't have any questions for him right now. He's going to wait until people are done eating, and then he's going to stand up and he says, excuse me, I must step outside for a smoke real quick.
Well, before that happens,
Okay.
she does say, I had heard that travelers had come to town, and I must apologize. If you're friends of the abbot, then clearly you are unlike those that we normally deal with and whom we have dealt with in the past. Given the circumstance of this land and those who rule over it, we've come to fear the worst when making contact.
Right.
I've heard some tales of some of your town's encounters with other adventurers from I do not believe I actually caught his name. Older gentleman of 3. Mention the guy's name because I can't remember.
I think I know who you talk about.
He seems
He's quite a character.
He seemed very interested in foreign currency over all other things.
That would be him. People have said that it is crazy for him to do such a thing, given that we don't accept travelers anymore. But he was not so easily dissuaded. I am curious. Where do you come from?
I am very much not native to this land. Came here looking for someone that interacted with my tribe in the past. And we're still looking to take care of that.
Oh, how long ago was this?
We've been here for a few months.
2 months.
2 months. The interaction with the tribe happened some time ago. I was much younger.
Then perhaps not. There have been a few times where I've heard of travelers coming to our gates, and some have matched your description. Though, whether or not they're related to you, I would never be able to tell. They moved on after meeting resistance at our walls. Or at least that's what I heard.
If that is the one I'm thinking of, I assume he was very loud to hear that they were not allowed in.
It may have been. It has been a little while. Ismark and Irina introduced themselves as being from Barovia. She offers condolences for their father and says he likely had a very difficult life living at the foot of Castle Ravenloft. It's about as close as you can be. I've always counted ourselves thankful for at least living as far as one can from that monster. Sometimes I even hope that we live beyond his reach. Though, such things are likely impossible. But with a day like today, perhaps not. Perhaps anything is possible. On a day such as this, with a light such as the Abbot's, people had always wondered about his purpose and why he had come here. But I had no idea that someone so powerful and so devout lived but up there. Perhaps in troubling times he may even come to our aid.
Has he never interacted with your town before?
No, he's mostly just stayed up at the Abbey, and people are somewhat fearful of him. No one else goes up there. But I will be sure that everyone knows that there is nothing to fear now. Though it will be difficult to dissuade the other rumors that hang about the place and its own accursed history.
Does the boy seem to be eating a little bit more vigorously now at this point, or?
No. He switched to a new way of testing his soup, seemingly, and I call it that because he's not eating.
Right.
He's like doing his best. Every once in a while, his mother like notices, but like just tries to do her best to like give him some space and make conversation with the rest of you, hoping that maybe he'll warm up a bit. Eventually.
How long does the lunch take roughly? Like an hour?
It probably will.
Okay. Then I'm gonna go ahead and add back 2 second level spell slots through my arcane recovery feature.
Okay.
So that's fine.
I'll say before like the hour is up, like what you wanted to do.
Then I will say, I'm going to step outside the smoke. I will be back. I'm going to step outside.
Yes, please.
I'm not going to smoke because I don't have any. What I am going to do is cast Longstrider upon myself, and then I'm going to, as I enter back in, literally do the same thing I did with the Abbot right around the corner. I'm going to cast Detect Thoughts. I'll mark a spell slot off and then walk in.
Do you have to do anything specific during a wait to attune to an item, or do you have to like be attuned
You have to
it
focus on the item actively.
for like a full hour?
While I didn't know that, I was going to say that I assume that you have to like attune.
Yeah.
You can't just be like chilling.
Well, I don't know, maybe one of those things. As part of a short rest, you can take 10 minutes to blah blah.
No,
blah.
it's as part of a short rest. You can, if you spend your short rest attuning to an item, you can attune to it.
Okay.
So, barring you wanting to be a little rude,
I will not do that.
though I appreciate this. Get back.
as I step back in, I will say...
I'm going to say that
Oh, okay.
that the Burgomaster has like joined everyone by the time that you get back.
And I'll say, before we leave, and thank you for the meal, of course, I would like to talk to your son about what he has seen.
It is one of the, mayhap be one of the pieces of information we have been searching for.
Searching for? The boy also asks, searching for? Why?
What is he thinking as he says this?
He's thinking, they're onto me. They're out to get me. They're sent by him. By them.
Huh.
My eyes will narrow at him, although no one can see that. But
Glass
my eyes will narrow at him, and I will say,
You know in his mind he notices your eyes narrow.
what the fuck? And okay, well that freaks Sasha out a little bit, and he's going to say, what has you so concerned, boy? What did you see?
You have hardly touched your food. You do seem bothered.
I'm just not hungry. Why are you asking?
Because you have been beyond. And I think something horrible has happened to you.
I died. That is horrible.
No, something worse.
His father steps in and says, it's only natural to be afraid after something like that. While it is likely traumatic, simply answering his questions so that he may go, there could be no harm in that. And since it's everybody, right? Because I'm about to include one of his thoughts.
Sure, yeah.
And you get a thought of him thinking that today has gone wonderfully, and it's beyond, even with the abbot's request, it's beyond anything that he could have hoped for, but he is still afraid that this could turn sour at any moment. Even if you're friends with the abbot, you are still travelers, and travelers still carry a lot of baggage for him, and so he's hoping that his son, whatever's wrong, will just heed what he says, answer your question, and then move along. Or, there'll be a chance to say, hey, it was cool, but we'll see you guys. Kid,
No, we're
on the other hand, his mind is now racing. He's thinking that maybe his father is in on it, and his father is one of them. Could his mother be one of them? Could his whole house be one of them? Is he the only one?
This guy's too paranoid to answer my questions.
Out loud, he very curtly says, it was dark, it was cold, I think. And inside, you get thoughts that, like, he's trying to, like, cover, but you also get thoughts that, like, it's not that much deeper, at least to his recollection. Like,
But he is hiding something from me.
well, it's more like he's worried about why you're asking. He's worried why you're asking, so he's being curt, but you are getting that there's not too much more.
Right.
There's not a great revelation that his mind hides from you, but he's concerned more that you are asking than anything else.
Alright.
Though you do also get some pretty chilling shots of, like, this swirling vortex of what you can only imagine to be souls, all, like, not writhing, but, like, moving as if they're fixed in place, almost like a bunch of souls have been squished together in this, they're, like, packed into some kind of mass. They can still kind of move, but not really. There are points where of discombobulated senses where there's no up or down and everything is just howling, swirling, and maybe pain, but through a really, really thick filter of timelessness. It's a lot of stuff that's like kind of hard to like grab onto, and part of it was dark and part of it was cold.
Our traveling
It's
companion,
definitely pretty awful.
our traveling companion is a user of magic and has been used to help others that have been suffering from things, thinking of using his magic to help. Oh my god, what the hell is his name? Father Lucian and stuff, and being able to get information out of the kid that seemed to help the kid. Maybe?
Who's Father Lucian? What kind of magic? Who taught you?
Father Lucian is the father of the church in Valaki. He seems to be a good man.
So, I have a question real quick. It says, as an action, you can attempt to probe deeper into a creature's mind. If you probe deeper, the target makes a wisdom saving throw. If it fails, you gain insight into its reasoning, its emotional state, and something that looms large in its mind. The question I have for you is, would it be possible to tell if being dead has, like, done something to his mind through that action? Like,
I would imagine that you could determine it. If not through any game mechanic, then through like basic knowledge and process of elimination combined with what you already know from being in there.
Okay.
So that's a long answer of me saying yes.
Sherlock Lowe.
I will take an action to force him to make a wisdom save. Additionally, I will use my portent to make him roll at 11. 11 plus whatever wisdom modifier he adds versus spell difficulty. 17, so unless he has a 22 wisdom.
No.
Yeah.
He does not.
Freshly resurrected.
Out loud.
Now, after I probe his mind, he will know that something happened to him. That I did something to him. I think unless he has Arcana, he might not know specifically, but he'll know that I did something to him.
And it's you specifically, not like
Yes.
us?
No, it's me specifically.
The Burgomaster remarks, you've been to Valaki. You focus and you see a large and varied tapestry of dark figures with evil eyes and long claws, big, almost bat-like ears, and you see a reflection of like the room around him, but it's all twisted and dark and curved, but in a way like everything seems to like loom, even though like a chair, like he's not shorter than a chair, but it like looms nonetheless. The people around him have their faces like twisted in looks of equal parts plotting and malicious inspection, predatory in their features. Were you not an adult, this would be more frightening. And even as an adult, like, it's depicted with such vividness and such conviction that, like, still kinda, but like you face stuff, but it's still something to see. This also causes, for the benefit of everyone that's not Sasha, for the child to immediately like violently like wrench himself like back, falling like out of the chair, and then like scrambling away from Sasha as he shouts, "Get away from me! Get away from me! Get them all out! Get out!" And Finny like starts to leap up as like his father starts to go after him, and his mother says, "Come, what's wrong? Nothing's happened." And she like looks from you and then back to him. Ismark and Irina are maybe mildly confused. You were able to stay hidden, and obviously Esmeralda was able to stay hidden. So, for the record, you get to watch as the kid's father like tries to get a hold of him, but the kid like ducks him and then like smashes his way through like a door that like he's near, and his father like goes after him, and you hear like scrambling and like rattling as his mother stands up and says, "It seems that the events have taken somewhat more of a toll on him than perhaps we had feared.
Mayhap we should go and allow you to tend to your son."
Perhaps it would be best. Once he is well again. Perhaps after a good night's sleep.
Yes, perhaps.
He may just need time.
If you would excuse me. And then you hear, like, the kid from the back, "No! No! Stay away from me! Stay away from me!" As you also hear, "Calm down!" And then, like, a little more scuffling.
Yeah, we should go.
The young man from before manages to find you as you like exit where you were having lunch and escorts you like back the way. Though he is careful, like he waits for you guys to take the lead first, seemingly to not
I'll
offend, perhaps.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not.
And also being a young man, he's no way of repelling you if he wanted to. He doesn't though.
That's true.
In fact, you can tell that he's trying, in his head, he's trying to be very, 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 very careful, considering you guys basically the most dangerous thing in the world at this moment. So really to say he escorts you out is not completely accurate. It's more like he's near you and he's walking, and
He watches
in theory
us
he
leave.
I will walk
watches you
slightly
leave.
faster than everyone else due to long striding.
Oh yeah, that's right. I guessed that.
Gotcha.
He watches
Yes.
you leave. He like bows as you leave and gently closes the door.
I only cast it because I didn't want to waste expert divination.
Off in the distance, you can hear a bell toll as you are now
guess lunch is served.
As you are now outside the burgomaster's residence.
Let us go somewhere safe. We have much to discuss.
And as everybody else turns, we're going to stop for a second. Just scratch a rune of recovery into the door frame. Just for something for me.
Well, while he takes some time
be
to do
well.
that, I will summon my steed.
Hey. Because you're in a unique position. Like, you see as they're leaving, like, Siguror is, like, scratching something into the door, and from your angle, you can see there's a townsperson that, like, stops, thinks about saying something, and then doesn't, and then, like, continues.
Also, when I cast Detect Thoughts, if Esmeralda or Crack were within 30 feet of me, I would have become aware of their presence.
Okay, then, you know that they were at least within range to, like, see you guys leave, and there's a point where they're not in range, and then there's a point where they re-enter range. Likely having caught up with you outside, unless, for whatever reason, you wanted to stay inside the house. Because the interval's not, like, long enough that you could, like, leave out the same door they did, so it requires, like, a little bit.
If you
Just
want
some
to
extra
be a
steps.
douche and torment that kid with your hide. Why would I do
Hide in this bedroom. They're out to get you.
that?
Oh,
It'll be like Rob.
yeah.
But that's a story we don't need to tell on this show.
Crack is your friend.
It's true, because we were all there. I mean, for telling, not for actual. Are there any stops that you're making along the way?
Nah, unless anyone else has a stop, I'll notion firing it again on the horse if she would like. I'll offer her to go on first if she wants to drive the horse.
I mean,
Because honestly,
if the abbot walked, then
he's just thinking. He is like
Probably
super
not.
like, this is so fucked. So
Actually,
it's probably better if I
that's a good
takes the
point.
reins.
Irina does get on first. Like, she takes you up on your offer. It's more kind of a, oh, okay. And does so. You do encounter, like, the abbot, like, walking back. And he, like,
already?
turns.
Like he turned around from walking to the abbey and walking back.
No.
Oh,
Like,
oh.
walking. He's
I'm on a
walking.
horse.
He's he's close to back, but, like, you still get there
Right.
before he does. As he, like, turns, like, nods. Greetings. Just on my way back to the abbey, so I take you are as well.
Yes, yes. Are you aware of what has happened to the boy?
He has been brought back to life.
Yes, that is true. Of what else has happened to him?
Well, likely he has suffered a great deal living in these cursed lands. But that should be over very soon. Perhaps not as soon as I would have wished, but soon enough. What is a month compared to a lifetime of darkness and misery?
What do you mean? Because out of character, unless
Yeah.
here as
Well,
Marvel told me, I don't know
heard
anything
the
about
Well, actually-
father mention like the abbot that the abbot requested something of him.
Yeah, but I don't know the specifics.
Actually, I'm going to ask, did you talk at all on the way back before meeting the abbot?
Oh,
Because
yeah,
there's
that's
a
true.
period of
How
time.
did you know they're there?
Because I guess that would change this dialogue a little bit.
Not unless the lady shows herself, I'm not going to.
Well, while she doesn't show herself, she does, like, make her presence known all the way back. Once you're out of town and making, like, the sojourn, she does say, I and your friend, I believe, were able to, I mean, you could,
No.
I guess, were able to, actually, no, never mind. Were able to spy on the abbot's conversation with their father. He is asking for a wedding dress for his bride in exchange for resurrecting his son.
I believe he mentioned something about that, yes. Because out of character, he did mention he needed a dress when I was talking to him, so...
He's given him a month.
Okay. So then, upon her saying that,
Yeah, at least
when
Valaki
he
actually has a
mentions a
seamstress.
month, I will say, yes, you...
For the record, she also warned you that he made it kind of pointedly, and it sounded like you.
Right. Okay.
He didn't literally threaten, but like it sounded.
It is an implied
It sounded like it
threat.
to her.
That was an implication of threat.
Yeah, this sounds like if you don't do it, I'll kill you. So, but that's just me. I will say to him, do you know what happens here when people die?
What is it you are implying?
I'm implying that something happens that is abnormal. I believe people's souls are trapped here upon their death. Sucked into some sort of void or some prison, like a soul jar.
Perhaps. I do not trouble myself with such thoughts. I allow the Morning Lord to guide my actions. That is all that I need to avail. I would suggest that you do the same. I know not how successful you have been thus far for whatever reasons you've come here, but likely not, if you still remain.
Let's see.
If anything, we have not failed in what we are seeking to do.
Ah, well that is good. I had hoped that you had not lost someone or otherwise found yourselves cursed.
Did you say that like pointedly?
No.
Okay. Okay.
As there are many that find themselves in such predicaments or worse here. There's only so much aid that I can offer those who dare to travel this far in these lands.
Yes, I see. I think we will rest the night at least.
It is the
If
least
you
that
will.
I can provide.
Thank you. Once we get back to the room and away from him, I'm going to say something is very wrong.
He seems to know what that is.
I believe I was right about people's souls being trapped upon dying. What's worse, I think somehow when he was brought back, he brought part of that prison with him. It has done damage to him. There is something wrong with his mind. I do not know him, I cannot say before. But I believe that his imprisonment has done something to him.
Irina offers, I can't imagine that was how he acted before.
Yes, I feel you are right. Some sort of...
Be fixed.
I don't know. I have medicine.
Repaired.
I don't know if medicine would let me know about... Like, even back in the day, they knew what insanity was, right?
Barring me being wrong, in which case we've already done it, it's too late. I'm gonna say sure.
Do you want me to roll?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was...
You're trying to determine...
I think it made him crazy. I know that stuff that can happen can give you short-term or long-term madness. And those can have effects on your personality. Like, out of character, I know it can change your flaws and shit.
Okay.
Or add new ones.
Can it
Like,
also change
I
your
don't think you
memory?
need that roll to determine literally that,
Okay.
but if you want to roll for, like, trying to determine specifics, like how bad it might be
Sure,
clinically,
Could
you
it
can go ahead.
change his memory?
But like
Like
sounds
he
like
was
in character you
remembering
were already
something
certain that like he didn't act this way,
Right.
and other people have suggested that that's true.
Okay, so I got a 15 on my medicine check.
Okay.
Thanks, guidance.
You are thinking about it more in terms of specifics because you are certain that he has been altered, that dying has altered him. That's beyond question. But going back, thinking more and more about what you saw in there and the feeling that you got, along with some of your own personal studies, it is far worse than like a simple derangement. You think whatever has done this damage, fittingly for this accursed place, has done it permanently. He's gonna be like that
Okay.
forever
Yeah.
unless it's fixed
Healed.
via magic.
Probably greater restoration, which we super don't have. I will say, I fear this boy has been changed forever. He has a sickness of the mind. Something that is very difficult to cure with magic, beyond my abilities. And I believe if he was capable of doing so, he would have. Although it doesn't seem like he particularly cares. I don't know. If only Grayla was still alive. Because out of character, she would actually be just high enough level to have that spell right now. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. It's really
God
frustrating.
damn.
Fuck. Perhaps. I don't know.
Perhaps
That was some sort of
solution.
If he was capable of casting a spell of that power, the town would be a lot safer than it is. The Baron might not have acted in his sickness if it did. But there are other matters.
Is
We
it
must.
It's the first time I have thought such a thing. Only she's still invisible, so like it comes from an appropriate place, but like she's not really there, but she is.
Right.
Esmeralda remarks, "It's the first time I've felt this way, but I wish Van Richten were here.
Is he a healer?
More he's knowledgeable. He might know something."
Perhaps we
someone.
should speak to him.
There was a time where I asked him for advice on all matters. Thought I'd outgrown that.
Still,
Student is always a student in some regard.
that is true.
Yeah.
I wish my master were here right now. But then again, perhaps not. Regardless, there's also what you have spoken of. They plan on heading to Vallaki? The roads are not safe.
No,
Absolutely not.
they do not seem to have a blacksmith. Their guards do not seem to be as well armed as they are in Vallaki. They may not have a strong enough or
But if we
defensive
go-
enough escort.
But if we go with them, and Strahd finds us, we are putting them in far greater danger. We can doom them through inaction, or possibly through action.
I hadn't even thought of that.
They could also be doomed to inaction.
And if they do nothing, what you say, Esmeralda, is correct.
There is no town. There is no town that is closer. Maybe an encampment?
Esmeralda offers nothing. At least nothing that I've seen.
We should
No,
go ourselves.
no encampment of either of your people that either of you may know of that could be
No.
reachable?
To
I
my
have not been
knowledge,
here.
the closest town was Berez, which has not been a town since long before I was born.
I know not of any encampments near here, nor any that would help, though I have not been in a position to look. I've been more preoccupied with finding a way to deal with Strahd.
Perhaps you can ask the werewolves if they have a camp around here. I'm sure they have a glorious dressmaker.
If this town had a seamstress, then they would have no need to go to Vallaki. Seamstress or sir.
I believe the best course of action would be to go to Vallaki ourselves and bring
Right.
the dress back. If we encounter Strahd, we are not putting anyone in danger except ourselves.
Another thought I did have, and it has been pounded into my head for quite some time. You cannot have a wedding dress unless the person who is to wear it is to be there. Measurements have to be right. Something.
I can fix them.
My thought
Irina
is...
does offer, but I wonder what the abbot was thinking then.
Perhaps he can fix it. There are magics that can be used to shape things.
But if that were true, why does he not... If he can create life from nothing, why does he simply not create a dress?
Because these spells that are
Yes.
used for creating something wholesale are very powerful and not the type of magic he has access to. A spell my master would know, but is beyond my ability. Arcane rather than divine. Out of character, I'm referring to the spell creation.
Which just lets you make shit.
Yeah, it lets you make something out of raw materials.
Irina just goes, oh. Esmeralda goes, he's correct.
Yes, it's a very potent spell.
Must you still be invisible?
Does it bother you?
That's an in-character laugh, by the way.
No.
Some people
It
prefer
is-
not being seen.
It is simply odd talking to a voice with no body.
Out of character, I'm not remembering if you can willingly drop
Yeah, you can.
invisibility.
You can stop concentrating.
Then she does. We're
Um,
likely far enough from town now.
Well, she wants to sleep invisible. Which I don't think you can because it's concentration, right?
No, you can't. Unless you drink 8 potions of invisibility.
There you go. There you go. Just Yeah,
I
that's it.
will
Ask
say
for your visibility before you go to bed.
that only lasts a minute.
Oh.
Yeah, that lasts even shorter.
It's just it lasts through you attacking things.
Yep.
That's the greater part.
Yeah, it's the combat version of the spell. I will say, I believe our best course of action would be to spend the night, go in the morning. If we encounter Strahd, then we're putting no one else at risk. But we need to convince them to let us do it. Because if they go, something terrible will happen.
Do we have any more business here at the Abbey?
I mean,
I forget, in character, did you vocalize desire to get rid of his makeshift golem, or did anybody?
no.
Okay. I'm just making sure.
I'll say the abbot is strange, but as long as he gets what he wants, I do not think he will be a danger to these people. As for the desecration of corpses,
If his first attempt was for naught, mayhap he has lost interest in
I do
doing
not
such
think
a
it
thing.
matters one way or the other. I think what happens to the soul after it is dead is far worse.
You learned something from the boy.
Yes. I learned that his soul was trapped in some sort of prison. Dark specters, cackling, long claws, a swirling of essence. It is no wonder that he has come back mad. And he would. What's worse, I do not even know if it is related to Strahd.
There was nothing.
I did not see Strahd. There is a chance that
Maybe the...
upon defeating Strahd, those souls will not be free. And Graylin will be stuck here forever. There is darkness in these places that is not Strahd's doing. The book speaks of a pact that he made with some sort of dark power.
That dark power that is not named.
That is not named, but I fear I have seen its face. Or one of it.
The only way to truly endure evil is to take rests when it affords you such. I have a feeling that we should do so now.
Yes, I agree.
And we will also do so off character, so we'll be right back. And we return. In addition to what I asked off camera, are you guys going to be doing anything before resting? It's like a little after midday right now, so...
Okay, so
I
we're
would
looking
still
at half
suggest
a
we
day.
take shifts. Okay. A few hours.
Yeah,
I mean, you could start resting right now. I just want to make sure that, like, there's
probably
nothing
should
else you
leave
want to do.
at night. I mean, unless we want to go talk to the
Right
Baron
after-
now.
Right after his son flipped the fuck out, and so probably...
But if they leave on their journey tonight, then we'll have missed them. Right?
We don't know when they're leaving, yeah.
But,
To be honest, they'll probably still send somebody out.
yes.
They themselves might not go. They might just send somebody.
And to be honest, I do not think they will listen to what I have to say after what has happened with their son.
Their son merely seems to worsen the state he was already in.
Yes.
Irina asks, we were all marked as friends of the abbot. Do you think they will listen to any of us?
I believe so. I mean, they owe you his life. Well, they owe the abbot. You are his friend. I just believe with his unique reaction to my magics that it's perhaps best if someone else asked them to let us go and retrieve the dress for them. That it is dangerous. I just feel that if the sun is, you know, my words may fall on deaf ears.
Well, then who should do it?
No matter where we are, I still do not believe it'd be a good idea to split up. That being said, I do not mind being one of the ones that goes.
Miss Burke says, well, in theory, if we still needed time to rest, someone could attempt to convince them to not leave yet. They have a month, don't they?
And how long does it take to get to Valaki again? Like from here?
Right?
I'd say between 1 to 2 weeks, depending on if you got waylaid.
A week to get there, a week to get back, but once you get there, having enough time after telling them, hey, you need to start working on this dress right now.
Perhaps well, we might not need to make a new dress.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it has been destroyed. The Baroness might have a dress that we can borrow. It's not like she is using it anymore, and there's no Baron to object.
Hey, could I get a roll for me real quick?
I don't remember.
D20, right?
Yeah.
Just a base one.
Intelligence, actually.
Wait, what's 15 because I got a nailed on.
It might have been easy to forget, but with Sasha saying something, you know that at the very least, like the Baron of Valaki, or the Baroness rather, had a dress. You saw it.
Yeah.
As they're talking, like you remember. And it looked pretty nice.
Huh. What was her name again? I kind of forgot it. Do you remember? I mean,
I think it was said once.
I'll insert her name here.
Yeah.
And
I'm not going to flip through.
No, I think her name was said like once, then everybody else was
And I'll
referred to her
say
as the
that
Baroness.
she has a dress.
See? We can go and recover it.
Assuming it wasn't stolen.
Well,
Even
if it is still in Valaki, I can find it.
That's right.
Using my magic. Wherever it is, we go and we take it.
Some point before all is said and done, I may request use of that to find what was taken of mine.
I assume that it is in the Castle Ravenloft. Speaking of which, I suppose I should do that now. Nothing, I just thought of something stupid. I was gonna ask, how stiff is the town? Like, is it right under? Can I jump off and then feather fall and use that to like cut a couple some time off the drop?
Well, if we jump off the cliff, would that land us in the lake?
Silly, don't worry.
The weird, freaky lake that
That's
I don't
silly.
want to
That
touch.
sounds like some dumb video game exploit stuff. You can scan most of the town if you just fucking jump off of this one. In this
Sorry, I was
case,
playing
no.
Breath of the Wild. I was just like, hey, you know what's an easy way down there? Jump, paraglider. Hey, you have a glider.
Oh yeah, we just gotta fix it.
You can link around.
We still have to fix that.
The group does have access to a glider
That's true.
from the future
Well, perhaps
and a gun,
that's true.
Yeah.
I do have a gun.
also from the future.
Haha! I will say, well, if you're willing to go speak to them, just make it clear that
The roads are not safe, and if they leave themselves, they're most likely dead.
maybe not use those words, but yes.
So you're going to talk with them?
And then what else
Right,
wants to go
Siguror.
with them?
Yeah.
Sasha just thinks that it would be a bad idea for him to show up, considering he forcibly read the kid's mind. And
If
you guys
see-
don't know that, but
Yeah. But and you're suggesting that if you go, it would
It would
make
be
everything
bad.
worse.
Yeah, it would
Yeah,
make everything
yeah.
worse.
No.
Big
Pick up on
Mark says, I will join you, at the very least, to hopefully add some weight behind your statements.
Good. We'll be back soon.
Let's hope he proves himself. Character, by the way.
What is the rest of the group gonna do?
There's trouble. You will know.
What's Esmeralda doing?
She says, I'm just going to be here. I was making plans before, but with your arrival, those plans have changed. I don't think we're out of the woods quite yet, but I don't think there's anything that can be gained by my accompanying them.
As going out the door, mayhap now would be a good time to think of what is you are to say to Octavio if you left on bad terms. New person, don't trust. Do not like this. Everyone is here out to get us here. Everyone!
You leave my future wife alone, right?
Hey, I have to be suspicious.
I'm
We
just
have
joking.
no idea who's French family here.
No, there's some good contenders, but I'm very tempted to call Esmeralda best girl.
Ouch. I mean, that's cool. Although she's like spiritually spoken for, so.
I'm very tempted. I would have to sit down and examine the facts to make a true judgment call.
Okay. Yes. Was there anything else I was going to? Oh, let me see that glider. Yes. Does it look like something I can fix with mending?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. I will cast mending a couple times and say, there.
Cool. Thanks.
No problem. If you try it out, I would not attempt too high at first. It doesn't look like it can hold much weight, although hollow bones will probably be fine, yes?
Oh yeah, candy probably don't weigh that much.
Well, he's just making a joke. And I will say,
That's an interesting contraption.
oh, if you like that, I assume it's Osmo.
Yeah.
If you like that, and I will pull out the
gun!
the gun. Hand it to her.
Where on earth did you find something like this? She carefully takes it and examines it.
I will say, it's some sort of device we found in the catacombs of Castle Ravenloft. There was an inventor there who claimed he could see the future. At first I thought it foolish, but upon looking at the both the glider and this device, I've managed to glean some details of its construction. It has furthered my study of magic in ways I had not thought possible.
Really?
Yes.
It's very interesting. I remember seeing something like this once, though it was much smaller. The man assured me it was the only thing like it in the world.
Maybe there's
Well, perhaps
pistol
it was
here.
at the time.
Maybe there's a pistol.
Well, she might have just seen one in her travels. She's very well traveled.
That's
So
like
it's
her implication.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Not
dude,
here.
what if there's also a handgun here?
that'd be sweet because I'm proficient with that too.
There's 2 guns in Strahd.
Since this is a gun, I assume it's not well known about it, right?
It's like a musket.
Yeah.
Sasha doesn't even call it a firearm because he
It's-
wouldn't know what that
It's
means.
not well known if, depending on how well traveled your character is, you want to say I kind of know, then that's fine.
Also, he doesn't know.
It's a loud crossbow sling.
I'll ask in church of what does it do? What is it?
You've seen what it does.
Yeah, he used it in Octavio's tower.
But
yeah, that's true.
But I will move over and explain it to her, however, how this works. And I'm going to explain to her how it functions. Yes, it expels a bullet like a sling, but different. It is packed with gunpowder, and I'll show her the horn, and I will say this is like a trigger mechanism. It's sort of like a wheel lock.
Does he even be called gunpowder?
Hmm.
Because we don't know what guns are.
No, he'd probably just refer to it as black powder. Or, I mean, technically he's proficient in history. He might know the, technical term. He's very smart. Whatever the technical term at the time was, he might know what it was called.
I
Ground
know
up.
all kinds of shit, so I just leave that to you.
Ground up whatever the hell rock you were looking for before.
Esmeralda listens with no small amount of interest.
Yes. It's a very interesting device.
I got it from her. Make sure she doesn't steal it.
I trust her implicitly.
This mark.
Oh, no, they're not in here.
They're probably
Make their
toy
way
horses.
back towards town. And eventually back to the house from which they left. Ismark looks to Siguror. I'll let you take the lead.
Step up. Get the rune. It should be fine. Knock.
You knock, and are once again met with a young man looking through the crack in the door. Yes? And how may I help you, masters?
There is a matter that we thought of. We believe the burgomaster and his wife may be planning on taking a trip to Vallaki or sending someone to. We wish to offer to go ourselves due to how dangerous the road is. No offense, but I have seen that we are more well armed than most of the guards in the town. I have not seen any of the townspeople.
This sounds like it sounds like you want to speak to the master of the house. I don't attend to such things.
If he is available.
If you would, yes.
Get away from his son.
I believe he's currently holding council with some of the other guards. The door's open, so you're allowed entry. You can kind of hear the far off. Actually, you're taken to a different room of the house, and you can hear some talk that you're getting closer to. You come in on a conversation, in the middle or towards the end of something where somebody's remarking, "It'd be quite a travel if we stick together." And then the voice you recognize as the burgomaster's, but it would be better if there were somebody else leading you. And you hear the voice of his wife saying, "I will do it. You have duties here, but I'm no stranger to weapons myself. I will join them." And then that's the point at which there is a knock on the door, and the boy says, The travelers are back and wish to speak with you." And then they get out of the way real quick.
Shut the door. Pardon. We realize we have just left, but there is something we have thought of and was brought to our attention, that you may be needing to make a trip to Vallaki.
The burgomaster nods and says, "Yes, we are going to make a trip there in search of dressmakers. The abbot has requested that we procure a wedding dress for him."
We have heard that he is in need of one as well, in our short time being around him. I am here to offer our services due to the dangers of the road, as I'm sure you are all very well acquainted with. We have been traveling the roads for some time, and we believe
You would be willing to help? Such help would be welcome.
Well, I would feel we would fare maybe a bit better due to not seeing a blacksmith in this town, so I do not know how well armed your people are, especially against the dangers outside your walls.
One of the guards, because there are also like 3 men and 1 woman who are in guard attire, like looks like they want to say something, but very obviously keep quiet. Burgomaster says, "Well, we have sufficient arm and armaments, but we would not say no to an accompaniment by you and the rest of your men."
The entirety of our group, yes, all are capable, and I have also heard that the lady of the house is also capable. I do not know the capabilities, but
She says they should be sufficient, especially with your help.
it would also be understandable if both the parents of your son would be needed around. Is he doing better?
He has calmed down somewhat since earlier, but hopefully he will be well after some rest.
I hope that as well. I cannot imagine what the boy has been through, and I do not know what has put him in that situation. I have seen what has put people into the ground, and I assume he has been through a lot.
Hopefully not much more. We will be leaving immediately, as soon as more people can be rounded up.
That was the assumption due to the length of travel required. There and back.
Yes. If you wish to lend our aid, if we will lend aid, you should tell your friends to come soon. We should be ready within. He looks to another guard and says, "We should be ready within 2 hours."
Yeah. We realize the pressing matters, but we have seen the outside. It is going to be dark soon, and it would be a fool's errand in basically throwing yourselves into the beast monster's jaws if we are to travel at night.
The woman speaks. We are fully aware of the danger, but it will be difficult to procure a dress in time, assuming that we can find one or have one made. It's of the essence. We would leave later if we could.
We believe there is at least one in the town that is available. One of my companions have said that he has seen it. The beaked one. He mentioned... I don't remember you mentioning your name to them.
I did. They just seen.
Right, he wasn't there.
Yeah. Mention that anyway.
They're
We do not
confused. The man says, "You have been there?"
I thought I had mentioned that we had been to Valaki before, after I had mentioned Father Lucian.
Oh, that does sound familiar. Even so, it seems a matter best done sooner rather than later. Is there a reason why your companions would wish more time? Other than the obvious.
I believe there is business that they are dealing with. One has plans of dealing with the abbot a bit longer. I do not know everything about it, but may be important.
Dealing with the abbot. Omen says, what would there be to deal with?
The abbot has been talking to us separately about some things. It is the one with the colored glasses. Sasha.
Some things like what?
They have talked privately. I do not know. To my knowledge, yeah, I know they did talk by themselves. I'm pretty sure, right? Ever know that?
If you're just referring to him like asking questions about the golem, then yeah.
I would have assumption that you'd want to ask more questions before we leave. If it isn't...
The Burgomaster says, and these matters would prevent them from leaving? I don't understand what you're implying.
I will speak to them, see what can be done. As will state your desire. I will talk to them and see what is to be done, but traveling at night is more dangerous than anything else. I do not know if any of you have traveled.
Now, out of character, would you like a second shot at trying to convince them? Because you were sent here to convince them to not leave yet. And
Explicitly. Right.
Yeah.
Right, okay. I don't know why I was kind of...
they are
Chasing.
confused
Right.
at your mention of one of your companions having some sort of secret dealings with the abbot, but they're kind of not sure what to make of that, so they just kind of leave it alone.
I do not...
They're of the mind
Okay.
that it's better to do
Then
this now rather than later.
Then rewind to... I do not have the hands or the mind for magic. My companion that was here earlier does, and the abbot most assuredly does as well. But believes it is matters of magical nature.
And this would stop your companions from traveling?
It was
I'm not
expressed
sure I
that we need the night. That we are to rest and do what needs to be done at the abbey. And leave slightly before first light.
Could I get a persuasion check from you?
Sure.
But
There's multiple people.
with advantage.
Okay.
That second time around, you made it sound like they're helping the abbot with something, which makes a little more sense to them.
18.
Thank the Lord.
See, I was totally prepared. Yes, there are guards in the room, and there's 5 of them. Let's do the social skill that I have a bonus to. That scare the shit out of them. No!
I suppose you could. Hey, you could
If this
have.
is
You
right.
could have come here. You better not fucking leave without us. I'm not sure how that would have worked, but we could.
I could have just sprang them, wanted to intimidate them with the tale of horrible fucking monsters we have come across that run rampant out there.
There's fucking vampire actors right now.
Don't need to know about that.
The Burgomaster nods. If it is of importance to the abbot, then I suppose a delay would not harm our travels too greatly. You said that you know of a dress that exists there.
Believes.
One of my companions believes so.
Then perhaps that will at least save time.
And if it does not work, I've been assured that magic can be used to fit it appropriately.
Most assuredly. We will delay until dawn.
Hopefully This will be the last you see of us tonight.
There's a bit of a pause, and then you give it a chance to leave. Once again, the young man watches you leave, and you go.
Oh, the guy that watches us leave, right?
Yeah.
Who's not escorting us, right? I was gonna see if
He would normally, but no.
I was gonna see if they were gonna say anything, but the door closed. But damn. Yeah.
Well, you do catch, like, a bit of conversation as you leave, but it's more of like, well, then that is our plan. Yes, it seems that the course is set, and that's about what you get. General agreement.
Good.
For make your way back to the Abbey.
We did take 2 of the horses down just to make the trip faster.
Time's wearing on.
It's not like we're.
And eventually you return, unless there are any special stops that you're making along the way.
I don't really know anything about this place except there are hunched people around that I have been led to believe are fucking crazy. Do not deal with them.
That's true.
In the graveyard. Yeah. Unless Ismark wants to explore.
He does not.
Okay.
You eventually find your way back to the barracks where everybody else is set up, and is more or less as you left them.
They have been convinced to wait until dawn. They were speaking of leaving within a few hours as we walked in.
They still plan on going?
They seem set.
Unsettle them. If they come with us and Strahd attacks, our blood is on their hands.
Their blood is on our hands.
That is what I meant.
If anything, we have until dawn, and then we can convince them. I am not a talker. I am sorry. Out of character. I am not a talker. I am good with overall. Or fucking.
Let us get rest while we can. If we are to be in town by the morning. Out of character, it's still like 2 in the afternoon though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll say.
So there's still time to get into shenanigans if anybody wanted to. Otherwise, I would just progress to...
I do not. Did you want to continue your lesson?
Sure.
Yeah, other than that, I will progress till night. Now, I do have a question. Do we have separate rooms, or is it like that big room we were all in before?
I'm going to double check, but I believe it's the big room that you guys are all in.
With some rotting beds.
It is.
Like.
It is one room.
Okay.
How many good beds are there? Like, left?
None. There's only not so bad, and like this isn't really a bed. It's like a pile of like straw and like sawdust that you could lay in.
Well, I'm going to use prestidigitation to make that a little more appealing, I guess, by cleaning it. Can I cast Tensor's floating disc and just sleep? No, it doesn't last long enough.
Does
that would
that
be
hole seem
cool.
more attractive? Like, are they that bad?
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
These have been here for a while.
I'll bust out my bedroll then.
Yeah, but he doesn't seem to get many guests.
However, instead of being with me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send Sahar to a place, either a window or something, so that they can see if anyone leaves the room. Sasha's still slightly worried that Irina might try to leave in the middle of the night. And basically what my plan is if she does leave, Sasha's not going to do anything until she's out of the room, and then Sahar's going to wake him up, and then he's going to go over to a window, cast fly, and basically, like, follow her.
Sneak in the sky.
No, I'm just going to go out to the front gate and be, like, waiting for her.
Very well.
Just in case.
Weapon care, material, equipment check.
as the group, while the group was preparing to go to bed, Esmeralda remarks that while she is by no means faint of heart, it will be nice to have company for the evening toll.
Yes. It's good. Now, we are together, traveling.
Her meaning is made more clear when, within the darkest reaches of the night, there's a tolling of the bell, and the space below you erupts into babbling and cackling and wild barks, shouting for food. You get to hear a bunch of scrabbling, well, you know what they are,
Jeez.
from below.
Christ.
As they howl and bang, it is a terrible racket.
Is the mongrel fuck?
It takes about 40 minutes for it to subside, with like punctuations of like groups of howls and laughter and outcries like here and there, along what feels like or sounds like 2 rows, which makes more sense to you and everybody else that you shared with, depending on how in-depth you got with the description. Eventually, the cries and sounds of feeding subside and give way to the silence of night.
How often does that happen at night?
So I totally forgot, despite the fact that I said I was going to do it. Can I cast Locate Object on the Sun Sword before going to bed?
See, I was like waiting for it.
You started to do it, and then you did something else. I kind of forgot to. Yeah, that would have been fine.
Okay. It's not here, is it?
Searching with your mystic senses, you do not find something that matches it.
It's in Castle Strahd, isn't it? Castle Loved, isn't it?
That'd be kind of funny.
I hate you
We'll see.
so much.
God, what if it was in the brother's fucking tomb, just hidden away? Because
Sure, that's a fortress within a fortress.
But it would be a bummer.
It would be a bummer, yeah.
It is sometime after you are able to get back to sleep that you are visited by a peculiar dream.
Oh boy.
There's a man, pale, sullen, with dark eyes, that peers into a calm, cool lake. It seemingly contrasts his very being. He gently reaches out, then stops and then brings back a hand.
Like to the lake or me?
To the lake. You're not there. He seems to search it as one searches another's face for meaning. After a few moments, an energy, a wind, a foul wind begins to swirl about the man. It disturbs the pool's surface ever so slightly. The man turns on his heel, his cloak like whipping around as he does so. And as he does so, a streak of lightning pounds into the lake, causing its water to throw itself this way and that. After the lightning is struck, the lake is no more, but merely a sizzling hole from whence once sprung life. You feel it. You see the dream now more vivid than ever. It becomes clearer as the man is taking steps up a path, up a hill, towards a wooden structure of some kind. He stops in front of iron gates, as if waiting for something. To his back, there are faint coals in slowly developing blackness for help and to dispatch the dead and about enemies at the gate. Suddenly you awaken.
Does the lake look familiar?
You awaken. And you awaken. You notice that your other companions have awoken as well. Though you do not know it, you have all awoken at the end of the same dream. And now feel a sense of inexorable dread.
You dream about the fisherman wizard that sucks at fishing, I guess. Falls back with blue and shit.
Perhaps. It feels a bit more sinister than that.
Am I wounded any?
No.
Can I... Okay. Something is wrong. I assume we haven't gotten a long rest.
When did you start resting? Because it might have been long enough.
I don't know. Probably like 6-ish.
Yeah, so we can get up before
So we
first
can
light.
get up before dawn, you know?
Mm.
And it's not like we had a bunch of stuff we could do there anyway.
Not yet.
Is it long enough to attune before going to bed?
Yeah, you had time in the afternoon if you wanted to stop and do whatever.
Cool.
At Europe, Margarita says, "Did you see it too?"
Yes. We all had the same dream.
Man with lightning
Yes.
striking the lake.
And it is not. I was afraid it was a spell.
The man stopped in front of the gate. In mine,
Yes.
Esmeralda shares.
There was a lake. The gate near. That is where we are.
Did it look like the same lake?
Sahar.
Now that you're thinking about it, yeah.
I will call over Sahar, and I will say, fly, and I will send him out the window to look, and I will tell him mentally to be careful, and I'm going to take over his perceptions. Is Strahd right outside the gate?
As Sahar flies out, he actually hears like some shouts from town, though it's still far away, so you can't quite hear it. And more importantly, he sees what you were looking for. Strahd and only Strahd. Von Zarovich is standing at the Abbey's front gate.
The Abbey's front gate, not the town
Seemingly
gate. Oh
waiting.
boy.
I will. My eyes will snap open, although again, I will see.
Oh yeah, you sleep in
And
the
I
goggles,
will
don't you?
say,
If we got a good camera close up of your face, we might see like some muscle movement.
I will say, he is here. The town is being attacked by the angry dead, and Strahd is at the gates to the Abbey. Prepare yourself. Fuck!
Damn it.
Fuck!
How is he finding us?
I don't know. Maybe he tried to teleport and he couldn't, and he's like, oh, that's where they are. Fuck!
Though on the flip side, if that is what happened, it's probably better than him being able to just walk into your room. Or him having those.
Shit. Okay.
Like this time, I will not hand him. I stop myself and I will try to calm myself, bring Sahar back to my shoulder. I will say, He is between us and our only source of exit.
I do not believe he will ask for the book again.
He will not have it.
How far down is it to the lake?
Far enough. It's like halfway down, right? That's like 30 minutes away.
No, I mean
The lake's actually like in town, just like towards
From-
the
Oh, so it's like an hour.
from the cliff. How far down is the lake?
What, you want to jump off?
Would he expect that? Probably not.
How are we going to get to the cliff?
Through the
He's
graveyard.
guarding the-
It's
You
to
had
the
to go
back of the
You
alley.
had to go out to the... Didn't you have to go out to the front to get to the graveyard?
no.
You did.
Did
Yeah.
Ah,
That's what I thought. When
Ah, I thought
that's
it
what
was
I
the
thought
back.
he said, yeah.
Ah.
Unfortunately, to get to the graveyard, you would have to go like through the gate and then like a ways and then like over.
Yeah. No, that is... We're gonna have to...
Good idea.
What kind of walls?
Aim for the bushes.
Circumstance.
Go to
Or
bushes.
two. Yeah.
What kind of walls are there?
What kind of walls?
Yeah. Are they walls like stone walls? Like,
Yeah.
Well, it's weird that he's just standing at the gate instead of just charging it.
How
Maybe
high,
he can't enter?
how high
There's-
is the wall?
He does have to be invited, yeah.
Uh,
Wait, no. I don't know.
Talk to the abbot real quick, maybe? Fucking
I'm not sure that'll be any better.
tell him he's attacking innocent townspeople?
He doesn't care.
He's gonna care, dude.
The walls are like there's a portion of outside wall that you have to like go through to get to like the belfry and then down to like the main hall, and the drop from that wall is 15 feet.
It's not bad. I feel like if we can get out, because if he has to wait for the abbot to come to the door to come in, the abbot has to be fetched.
How are we gonna outrun him?
If we leave and he doesn't know where we are or what direction we're going first, go
He
out
can
the-
just spy on us. Also, he could just summon his flying horse. If he doesn't already have it. Did I see the
No.
Did I see the horse? Or did Sahar see the horse?
No.
Oh, well, okay, maybe
Is
not.
the range of the 100 feet from the sanctuary he cast, is any part of that on the outside wall?
I don't think so, but I'm going to check. Yes, actually. Like the part that you go through to like get to the stairs that lead down is also encompassed by
Medicine transaction.
that.
I will say, if
However, the space where Strahd is standing in is also encompassed by that, like a little bit.
yeah, he walked into it. It's just him. I say we see what he wants.
Followers are probably dealing with the town.
Yes. If we leave, we are dooming this town to extinction.
Perhaps driving him off would be best, as Morelda suggests.
I agree. I'm tired of running.
I am too.
Correct.
Sure.
I'll turn to his market area
Running once was necessary. Remembering Bela. The fucking
We will do-
shit situation.
We will do whatever is necessary.
now. No,
We will stop it.
not again. I've already failed you once. It will not happen twice. Saying that trying to know this one, obviously.
This time we'll both succeed.
Give her the glider. Have her jump out of the belfry.
No. Shut up,
She
Good.
leaves. She's the ring of mind shield to heal. Fire.
Esmeralda informs you that she will be with you, and then casts the spell and disappears.
Really would have preferred this after a long rest, David.
Yeah.
You really fucked me here.
But doesn't your staff have all its charges now?
It does, but I have no points. I have 1 lucky, and I'm down spell slots. So this is super shitty.
Arrow stuff, or do you want me to wait?
You can.
Alright, 26.
The main question is, do I want to fucking already start drawing out the goddamn thigh bones? It might be necessary.
Let's say for the final battle.
Oh yeah, because we know this isn't the final battle, because the final battle is supposed to be in the throne room.
The option is yours.
I'm casting False Life on myself.
Very well. Is there anything else? Because once you have prepared yourselves, I will ask how you are approaching.
I'm just going to walk over the rest of them.
Swords and
Having,
small prayer to everyone upstairs.
You know what, actually?
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm also going to have cast Fly upon myself before having stepped out.
Okay.
I won't be flying yet, but the spell will be on.
You'll prepare to pull a potential sneaky on you.
Just getting out of melee range.
Yeah, considering how quickly you're approached, that's wary.
Honestly, I can't blame you. Bookmarking this for no reason. And the group readies themselves and moves out to the courtyard. They find, true to their vision, true to their dream, and Sahar's own vision, that Strahd von Zarvich stands before the gate, waiting for you. As you approach, he looks upon you all with a cold callousness and speaks. I believe this game that we've played has gone on long enough. It is unfortunate that you had to see a perhaps less regal side of myself. And now, I fully intend to show you a Lord's mercy. He then turns a little bit and looks kind of towards the town. It is rather fitting that you have managed to turn some of my most hated enemies into a great advantage. He turns back. Do you know what besieges this town now? Dead fools. Made irritable by you, of all people.
The resurrection.
The knights will not
how would he
stop.
not have known about that?
The knights will not stop, and they know full well where you are. The guards have already attempted to fend them off, but they will be unsuccessful, as you likely know. I am sure, given your proclivities, you care not if they find you. Perhaps you believe you will destroy them. They will return. No. I am here to offer you something that you cannot achieve. The sparing of innocent lives. Give me the book. And come with me to my abode, where we shall have a proper host. dead knights will be able to sense that you have left. They will attempt to find you with me. A process that you already know will be quite challenging. Dead or no. Or you may refuse my generous offer. And I will simply deal with you after they have had their turn. He then holds a hand just shy of the gate. But I expect you have already made your decision.
I have.
I'm going to start walking towards the gate, but just basically using the blood spirit to walk. And just saying, I'm tired. And stand next to the gate. Turn. The bull, Sasha. I'm gonna roll intimidate or not intimidate, would this be a deception roll on Strahd?
What are you trying to do?
I'm basically just trying to get in close, lure to a false sense of security, and then stab him through the fucking gate.
Yeah, I suppose.
While he's doing that, Sasha does have something he wants to say. And you're already getting up next to him anyway, right?
Oh yeah, no, right next to him.
It doesn't matter if I give him the book or not.
I didn't know, just
What?
Feel free to do AoE if you fucking need fireball or something. I do not care.
I'm going to say to him, Strahd, you are not a devil. You are not a man. You are a walking corpse whose decay has infected this land, turned good men into the monsters that attack these gates, because you could not let go of your past. I will not run. You will not have the book. You will not have Irina without a fight, and that is exactly what you will have. No more!
I guess at that point I would start walking to him. Just trying that with the board.
Okay.
So
So, you don't deceive him, but I imagined like you taking position as he was being spoken to and not like waiting, and Strahd was kind of like focusing on him. So you are next to Strahd as twisting black figures emerge from around the gate. And Strahd says, "Then your kinsman will not be the only blood that stains your hands this night. And I want initiative." As there are air calls in the town, as they mobilize to defend against the revenants, you are surrounded by 4 wraiths that attack in Strahd's stead, though likely Strahd will not simply stand by for long. What did you get?
17.
And what about Craig?
26.
And what about
9.
So stupid. Forget to do something?
Yep.
Whether you believe it or not, it's Craig's turn first.
Oh, hey!
I activate Crusader's Mantle when I attack.
Black spectral forms prepare to assault.
Mhm.
For what? Crusader's back? Yeah.
Attack roll next one, I guess the case.
Very well.
Dude, don't you want to hit you?
Where behind you?
Do you want to attack from where you are or move up? Because I think you've got some range on your side. Like, you'd just be moving one. I just was curious.
No, let's just move up and attack because I need to blast him.
Very well.
Yeah.
You move. You assault.
I had 27 to hit.
You strike out and find that the creature is very least easy to make contact with. There's a hit.
And he's undead,
You get your full damage bonus on this.
so
So that plus 2.
10. Alright, so 16.
Plus Crusader's Mount.
Oh yeah. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, nice.
Whew, 20 damage!
Yeah, 20 damage.
4 is radiant. That's pretty good.
Alright.
And it's a magical weapon, right?
We all have magical weapons except Irina.
So that's 20 damage, radiant, and then there was some damage up front. Yeah.
Oh. No, that's 20 damage
Total.
on the first hit. 4 was radiant.
Oh.
But it's
I
all
had
from
a
a
question
magical
real quick.
weapon.
I forgot.
Resistance against magical.
Did Ari lead with the Mace of Terror? Because he's the one who
Using the
had
sword.
it.
Yeah.
I brought that up, and
Okay.
I thought you mentioned that he left it for us. So it was like, should I go to crack?
He left the Mace of Terror, right?
From how Robert spoke, I assumed that he left behind every significant piece of gear he had.
Okay. Then, is Irina proficient in maces? I think they're a simple weapon. I'm gonna double check.
I also think they're simple weapons.
If she is, we should give it to her because it's a magic weapon. Even without a +1 bonus, I found out recently that if it's a magic weapon, +1 bonus or no, it still deals full damage. I thought it worked the other way, but no. If your weapon is magic, it deals full damage.
You thought it needed the +1 effect.
I was under the impression that it needed the +1 effect to work that way, but I was corrected recently in that it doesn't, which is really convenient because my paladin is a flame tongue, which doesn't have a number bonus, but it just does extra fire damage. Mace is a simple weapon, so she should be proficient with it. So we should probably give the Mace of Terror to her, right?
Yeah, you could have, like, before this.
Okay, good. That means we all have magic weapons, so.
No more of that fucking reduced damage or not magic weapon bullshit.
I got 21 to attack on the second weapon.
Alright, that is also hit.
19 damage.
Whew. Nice.
Good damage. Very nice.
And then
Well,
2 fist attacks or 1?
You can't, because you use your bonus action to activate
Oh, yeah,
Crusader's
right.
Mount.
Yeah. Alright.
It was 19?
Yeah, 19 damage.
So 20 and 19.
Crack, with unparalleled skill, rips into this spectral creature. Its wispy form seems unable to escape your blows, as it is harmed significantly. It howls in a facsimile of unearthly pain. Then comes... one of the enemy's turns. In particular, this one.
He's gonna attack.
Strahd.
Oh, huh. Never mind. Thought he'd go for me.
Fucking bring it.
There's time.
You fucking
It
Adobe Microsoft corpse.
moves over.
This is not a real corpse. He's a ghost of a corpse. Okay.
Harsh. Then, with gnarled, clawed hand that seems to warp and waver as it lashes out at you, makes an attack. I'm trying to find
I like your
the d20.
statue,
There it is.
isn't it?
17?
Oh, he has disadvantage on attacks because the icon of Ravenloft, thanks for reminding me.
Boo. We should never forget that.
I mean,
We need to get like an icon of Ravenloft like figurine, just bam.
Place it down.
Fucking never forget.
There you go. You said your AC 17?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I would like you to make a Constitution save.
Oh, something. Okay. 16?
Okay. Hold on. Should have this part first.
17. Forgot to upgrade that number. Is that plus 6? Plus 7.
As it digs and then attempts to rip and pull something out of Siguror, it is unsuccessful. However, Siguror does take 17 damage.
Okay.
Ooh. 3 of which being necrotic.
Okay.
No,
But the total is 17.
The total is 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
And no.
Okay. I assume that's what it was trying.
It could have diminished your very physical being, but it did not.
Yeah, incurable wounds, that's fun. I have
The ring of regen obviously goes to that since it regens lost limbs too, right?
You will rate health.
Yeah, the fight goes on 10 minutes, I'll regen D6.
After we fight him, if we successfully fend him off, we're gonna have to go down to save the town, which means it'll trigger 5 or 6 times. So
Then
yeah, it will help.
becomes Sigurdor's turn.
Also means I don't have to spend my spell slots on healing you.
Excellent. So, dumb question, but Strahd doesn't look hostile right now. I mean, it's hostile, yes, but like as a fighting combatant right now.
He seems quite amused with the situation that you have gotten yourselves into. He's enjoying watching it. He is technically part of this combat. He's just content to sit back and let his minions do his work. And has expressed that he intends to fall upon you after everyone else has had their go.
Okay.
You can still target him and shit.
Well, since these are not vampire spawn, I'm gonna draw the thigh bone of Saint Macrovus. Markovia, thank you. I'm going to rage and I'm going to smack that bitch right there that struck me.
Strahd smirks as you do so.
I shouldn't. 20.
That is a hit.
Excellent. So,
Oh shoot. Yeah. Oh well.
radiant, the d6 from the mace, and then the 2 extra d6 from the Mace of Disruption. Mm-hmm. 6, 12, 13, 15, 17, rage. 22.
3 of which was
You strike out at the fiend that wounded you and inflict a blazing wound of your own for 22 damage.
And strike him again.
It's
Plus
reeling that you refuse to slacken your attack.
That's great. That's great. So I'm just gonna take this shit and roll twice. That's 6,
13. 13, one of which was radiant.
2 of the d6s are also radiant.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
13, 14, 15,
21, 23.
23, 24.
Plus 7.
25. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, do you take defense or dueling?
Dueling.
Oh.
So that last one actually did 2 more damage. All of these.
Yeah, so it's plus 9. So 23 plus 9, 32.
32 damage.
And the first one did 2 extra. You don't have dueling added into your stat block?
I forgot to. Because I have it written down, and I also have it next to my damage / type plus 2 duel. And if that knocks him down to 25 HP or less, he has a chance of automatically being disintegrated due to the mace.
Your blow makes a large portion of the Wraith's essence burst and burn. It howls in even greater unearthly pain, and as it's kind of like in mid-reeling billow, it stops, almost like somebody like hit stop on it, and then it shivers throughout its form, and then slowly like ashes upon the wind.
Oh yeah, that was enough to kill it.
Destroyed.
Nice.
Cool.
It is a save for them to be automatically destroyed, if that's what you were talking about.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
You might have wanted to say that.
That's why
What's the save?
It is a wisdom 15. A DC 15.
D6, unfortunately. Super hard.
Discretion proves the better part of valor. It manages to hold itself to this plane by the scraps of intellect it possesses, nay, wisdom. And it becomes someone else's turn.
Next, we'll put this one down. That one's also surrounded for whatever it's worth.
Very well.
If it's size after somebody else.
It then becomes, if you could believe it, Irena's turn.
I don't believe it. I refuse.
Oh, that's okay, I guess.
Roll the discipline.
I rolled the disbelief. I
The
have a
mace
plus
was
9 to
just
disbelief.
the mace was just like a D8, right?
D6. But it will ignore non-natural resistance because it's a natural weapon. She can also activate it to throw an AoE fear effect
But these
if she
people
wants to. Well, she might
Probably.
not.
And
And technically, we don't either.
yeah,
Also,
she also
I
did plus-
must be losing my edge. David, I'd like to roll religion on these wraiths to know about them.
Okay.
She also does have a plus D4.
Okay, fuck this
from the,
dice.
mantle.
14.
Hey, actually,
Trash.
when you produce flame as a cantrip, right? Or you throw
I
fire.
firebolt. Yes.
Firebolt.
But produce flame's a lot weaker than firebolt.
I have misplaced some of my notes. What damage does that do?
What level is she? If she's level 1 to 4, it does a D. It does 1d10.
No
if
higher
she's
than 4, so.
okay, then a D10.
Okay.
Because I was going to say if she's level 5 or higher, it does 2d10.
Is
Which is what I
about to
did.
use the mace, but instead does not move. Instead, manages to a little shakily, but produce a thing of fire and hurl it at the wraith.
Awesome. Good job, I did.
It's not close.
Nah.
No.
Unless that was from an
What?
artificer. No?
What kind of wizard is she, technically? Because if she's an
I was
evoker,
going
I
to
think
make her-
they get to add
I
something.
was gonna make her an Eldritch Knight, because that seemed to fit the most for.
Then no, it wouldn't be plus anything, but
She might have a bonus effect. to
I
her
mean, very,
cantrips.
very loosely. She won't do it like as good as an NC will do it.
right.
But I said a long time ago that even though books is not, I think your investment should yield something. And
If she's an Eldritch Nurse,
Yeah.
you should get like some features added to her cantrips, right?
I don't know what level they get it, but they get a thing where they can cast a cantrip and then still make an attack. That's why I'm looking.
And then
So is
maybe.
that a D4?
I don't know.
Yeah, she also gets a D4 from the. Or wait, no, that doesn't add to this.
I think you could look at it, maybe take it up with Mario.
Oh, at
Because it's
7th
one of
level,
those
she can
things.
cast a cantrip and then attack, so don't even worry about it.
I think you do. Possibly gain features. I mean, almost only players can get that shit.
Another
Impossible.
moves forward and assaults the Siguror, getting to roll normally.
Damn. Not normally. Oh god, not normally.
Yeah, the only feature she would have right now.
In my notes, I gave her a couple things. Foolishly.
She has weapon bond,
Has
which means she can't
misplaced
be
it.
disarmed and she can teleport her weapon to her hand if she's bonded with it.
See, I really thought about grabbing that.
She does
That
have
was
some.
so cool.
She does have a couple first level spells, so she might have magic missile or shield or.
Instead of throwing 2 points into fighter, I
Oh,
honestly thought of throwing 2 points to get Eldritch Knight. Like, I want to see
Level
that.
3. You have to be level 3 before you get Eldritch. It's a subclass.
Wow.
Fighter subclasses come in 3. And actually, I figured you would take a 3rd level of fighter and grab the new fighter subclass, Rune Knight, since you're all Nordic and rune based, right? I thought that's what you were going to do.
I would like you to make a Constitution save.
20.
The Wraith strikes into your face. You feel it clench within and drag its hand back out, only to fail in taking something significant with it, though it does wreak havoc on your own personal flesh, as you take 9 damage.
Okay. Is that with reduction from rage?
No.
Or is this damage bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing?
Because if it's necrotic, you won't reduce it any.
Yeah. Because rage specifically reduces bludgeoning, slashing, or piercing.
I did note it, but 3 of it is noted as necrotic, so, don't reduce 3 of it. Go ahead and reduce,
So you
remaining
take 6. Yeah. So you take 6 overall.
Then,
I mean, the lost money was over there if you wanted to check. It's up to you.
I should, that's for sure.
Because I'm just double checking. Because rage doesn't state that it doesn't, but even if it's from a magical weapon, it still reduces the damage.
Yes.
As long as it's.
Barbarian is the only thing in the game that has that kind of resistance. Resistance to magical weapons as well. And that's part of the reason Barbarian is so good. Well, I guess Barbarian, and that's why some people are complaining about Rune Knight, because they can get themselves resistance to the same Barbarian resistance. One of their runes they activate and they gain resistance basically the same as a Barbarian's Rage. And a bunch of people were like, that's bullshit. That's like the Barbarian's best thing and a fighter gets it. And I was like, I know.
But they can give it to other people if you're a fire barbarian.
That's true.
Yeah, your roots can be cast on other people.
Yeah, that's true. You could give someone else resistance. Hint, hint.
Mr. Squishy Squishy
I
dies
die.
a lot.
So hard.
I mean, you haven't died yet, but
That's true.
you've gotten real fucking close once. Twice.
3 times a lady?
It might have been 3 times.
3. Did you get through the house? Or was that just Rob a lot?
I can't recall. So read incorrectly.
It's no Strahd.
Strahd was the fireball, and then when we were fucking tapped by all those fucking blights and the druids, you were critically down.
Oh yeah, I forgot about when I fought Strahd. So technically 3 times. When I fought Strahd, when the Blights nearly fucking killed me, and then when we were escaping the castle, I escaped with like 8 hit points.
Oh yeah, the dragons really fucked you up. The only reason you didn't die was because you had Irina right next to you.
Yep. Otherwise, they would have fire breathed me and I would have gone down.
Ismark advances on the one that Irina flamed and hacks into it twice. And, because he was given that magic sword, his damage is not reduced.
+2 greatsword.
D14.
+2.
Do you have the D4 rating?
No.
Okay.
I have added no D4
Well,
in any
the
melee
firebolt
attacks.
didn't.
So here's for Ismark, at the very least. Adding 4 damage. Wait, per attack?
Yeah, per attack.
Adding 4 damage to one attack. 3 damage to another attack.
Nice. Extra 7 damage. It's good.
Most then becomes another
Oh, I'm dumb. I looked at the bottom of my attacks and spellcasting thing. Bonus damage.
I did put my bonus damage down. No. The wraith that Crack assaulted attempts to assault Crack back.
I got 18 on class.
And he has disadvantage.
I forgot this time.
Me too.
You remember for him, but forgot for you.
We need to get like a raven idol.
However,
like icon or something.
Its efforts are in vain, especially given your divine protection.
Thanks, Icon of Ravenloft.
It is now Sasha's turn.
Okay. So if I fly up, that guy will get an attack opportunity. I don't want that.
Really? You're not close to anyone.
Hey,
No, she gets right next to you. Is right next to me.
I-
Wait,
You
David,
want
which slot am I in, David?
here.
Thank you.
I had
Okay,
meant
never
to
mind.
move you.
I moved
And-
10 feet upwards. Enough that everyone still has the Icon of Ravenloft benefit, but that the race... Oh, I rolled a 14. Do race fly?
Yes.
Then I will stay on the ground.
Out of character, I meant to have a couple of them fly up after attacking and forgot both times.
Well, I mean, that might have been a poor decision.
I'm not going to do it now, though. You also know that, like undead, they're host to a bunch of resistances.
Are they immune to paralyze?
Be surprised if they were. They may be.
Yeah, they were, they weren't.
Or
Yeah.
so they're trying to think of a dead thing then.
To your knowledge, they are. There are also a number of elements that they resist as well.
Do they resist fire?
You're not super certain on all of them, but you do know that fire is one of them.
Then I will say, stop fire, or I will turn to Irina. Use the weapon. They are resistant to fire. And I will. I mean, unless you have a entrance and attack one, in which case you can use that, but
Dancing Blade.
that's not a case.
Or spectral sword slashy. That's what I'm thinking of.
That's true. She could have a green flame, although that would also be resisted. Or she could have.
I picked ones that you had because it was going to be like a thing she studied with you, so it's like, yeah, let's
Makes
do that.
sense.
Fair enough. I will cast. Okay, they're resistant to fire. Are they resistant to ice, or do I not know that?
You're pretty sure they're not.
Okay. Then I use my flight to fly over here, and I cast a cone of cold in such a way that it'll just scrape these two and hit Strahd, but not hit either Siguror or Crack. And I will cast it from the staff. Because I will insert this!
Oh, right. See, I was gonna say, since you're an artificer now, you can actually cast shit through your gun if you want. I think. No, it has to be your
It
tools.
has to be one of my tools.
Yeah.
And I'm using charges with the staff, so it's -5 to the staff of power. They have to roll me a dexterity saving throw against DC 17 or take 8d8. I believe it's 8d8 ice damage, which I will roll.
I'm just throwing out. You sure you don't want to do it to these two since this one's almost dead?
I couldn't because his mark's in the way. I can get
Oh,
those two
oh.
and hit Strahd and not hit anyone else because of how I got.
Fair.
If one of you guys was a like fucking one space over. Oh shit!
Fuck.
I don't know where.
Esmeralda.
I don't know where Esmeralda is.
Now, normally I think this would be really cool attention, but you and Esmeralda, by coincidence, are going at the same time, and you actually get tipped off because there's a source of spell that's happening around where you're doing. Like you start, and then you think, oh, but what about? And then you spot something else happening
cool.
somewhere else. Spoilers, she sees you. You won't know this till afterwards, but she sees what you're doing, connects it, and is going to copy you somewhat.
So, I lied. It's a Constitution saving throw, not a Dexterity saving throw, and it is 8d8 cold damage on a failure. So, and half on a success.
Oh.
So I'm gonna roll my 8d8 now.
2d8.
No, I'll just roll that. It's fine.
Oh wait,
So I can
What'd you say?
find my other d8.
what'd you say DC was?
17.
Constitution.
Also, I need to rack up those kisses.
31.
All
31
of them
cold
save
damage.
except Strahd. All of them save except
How about
Strahd.
just none of them
That'd be
save?
funny.
Both of them save except Strahd. That'd be funny because how the hell did
That's
that
why I
happen? I'm in agreement. That'd be funny.
This one.
Let's see something.
This one does not, and takes it full force.
Okay.
This wraith proves more nimble, and Strahd proves good on his feet. He makes the save.
It's not Dex, it's Con. I was mistaken. If that changes the saves I need.
You did say that, and I still describe it as nimbles. I'm so used to fireball.
I know. Well, that's why I said Dex, because I'm used to Fireball.
Strahd and one of the wraiths is able to weather it better than this one failed.
Okay. Then yeah, 31 damage. Obviously half to 15. And if I remember correctly, Strahd is not resistant to cold, because that's one of the things I hit him with during our duel. Am I correct on that?
You
or am I
know
mistaken?
he's resistant to fire and electricity? Because of something he said?
He's dead.
No, he's not weak to fire, is what he said, which is what I found out. And he's resistant to lightning, I think. Fuck, I should have written down what he was resistant weak to, but I didn't fucking think about it.
Don't worry. Sasha's committed it to memory.
Sure.
This is true. Wraith is harmed significantly. Strahd, a little less so, but may just be his own.
Okay.
How we do.
Yeah, and that is my turn, because I was a big dum-dum and summoned a tiny servants before this fight started. Which is why I was like, damn it, I forgot something.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm doing it all the time. Now, as well, technically a little after the ice, but still relatively close together because you act on the same initiative, there's a bolt of lightning that goes streaking through the same trajectory.
Nice.
Because she saw you out of character and was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that.
Kill Strahd, not that other kiss. Use that hour we always needed, not Penrith.
Hey, Van Repton would be useful right now, too.
Yeah.
Probably.
Boy, would he.
He has a Death Ward.
Yeah. Oh no, never mind. I wouldn't be able to take out my business card. Well, it's not.
I'll do it.
Same thing. All of our stats except strikers. Constitution are 11.
Well, it's not God, though. It's just average.
Yeah.
Well, garbage stat. Look at my intelligence.
Look at my strength.
Bird brain.
My strength is 7.
Well, streaks through, out of character, regrettably destroying this kiss, and also further harming Strahd, who maybe kind of saw what you were doing and was like, nah, and afterwards they kissed the myth. But like the lightning, you think maybe he didn't actually expect because he seems a little irritated, even as like the wounds like begin repairing themselves upon his body.
Oh, is she visible? Or does she have greater invisibility?
She's greater invisibility.
Damn.
Clever.
Cool.
We're going into a fight. We gotta do this.
Dude, she is awesome.
She also heard. Oh, there's also Strahd. Yeah, this is a good time.
She came out to play. Strahd remarks, petty trickery will not avail you.
It's a tricky he uses things.
It's true. He can. Go fuck himself.
The shouts in the village start to grow closer. Strahd looks over his shoulder and then back to the group. Perhaps in waiting for your own destruction to catch up with you, I have been too merciful. It becomes Baxter.
Oh, guys, they're long storming fucking not Frankenstein's castle.
No, there's a bunch of zombie
No.
knights coming to kill
The
us.
shouts from the town are like, over here! Hold! Hold! But like really far away.
Oh,
Because in town, there are revenants coming to destroy you, and assuming that they were enemies, the guard are like trying to fight them off. But spoilers, they are not a match for these undead knights.
Yeah.
Strahd thought you might care about villages enough to like submit,
A bunch of Sir Daniel motherfuckers are coming up.
and
that
you're
hill.
like, and y'all were like, no, we will defeat Strahd.
Move me on the other side of the kiss. One that's
This one,
yeah. Ah, the outside.
Sure.
This mark.
yeah.
I got flank.
You swoop. You swoop.
Flank rules everything around me.
The battle's going fairly well now, but for what it's worth, you also know that a creature killed by a wraith, like if it hits 0 hit points, it just dies.
Oh.
Awesome.
Okay,
you
that's
guys are
awesome.
doing really well,
That's very
so
good
it's probably not going to reach that, but that is one special thing about wraiths.
So
Thank God we're high level.
I don't know why. I just love imagining fighting Strahd with these things.
Yes, exactly.
I got a 20 on the first hit to hit, and I got a 15.
Those are both hits.
15 damage.
Oh.
What was the hit?
15
20.
damage.
20 to hit, 50
My second round
shit.
attack.
I like imagining being surrounded by Strahd and those things.
25 to hit on this one, and then 14, 15, 16 damage on that one. And then my fist.
Unless you flare, then you get 2. But that's up to you. You have 16 points. No, you have 17 points. So.
Why is he at 7?
Because he has key points equal to his monk level. It's 7 level monk second level. Because we're all multi-class characters.
22 to hit.
Just like Saturday game. Put enough.
Hey, if it works, it works.
D4, the D4 damage stuff doesn't apply, right? Just make sure.
Yeah.
Alright. That's a 9 damage. Yeah.
Crack fiercely rips into this enemy, renting its ethereal flesh asunder.
Nice.
Hey, those two did some
You're a
pretty
kung
good
fu
damage.
rooster.
Kung Fu.
I mean, hey, it is right there.
Remember when I had five?
And then when you shoot, it's your cock rock. Your orgasmo. When you fire your blasts, cock rocket fire.
We've reached it. We're there.
I love that movie. That movie's so funny.
It's so dumb, but it's so funny.
What
Oh
movie
my
again?
god.
Orgasmo?
Orgasmo? Have you never seen that?
It's so dumb.
You should watch it.
But
It's really
it's so
good.
good.
The song is so great. What makes a man? Is it the woman in his arms? Is it his fight for glory?
Remember when I had to fight Rockcock?
No, I'm spacing.
The Zodiac
Oh,
campaign. That was one of
I
the
remember Rock.
arenas that we had to...
Yeah. Very silly. But let's focus on this. This could go bad really fast.
Strahd casts a spell.
No. Counterspell.
It's higher than others.
Alright, I'll make that roll. Is his spell 12th level? I joke, I got a 22. As I cast Madness, and I undo, or I attempt to undo a spell.
Sharp, violet-laced blackness emanates and swirls around him. Sasha sees this and casts his own spell to counter that spell. The darkness is abated as Strahd glares at him. What was that spell? Revealing that his current mood was really a facade, and once again, the bestial rage surfaces.
Okay. I'm glad I'm the first one in that game.
Oh, devil, surely that is not your best. Basically throwing his own words from our first fight back at him. Because he said that same shit to me.
He glowers and prepares to do something. In the meantime, it is Sigurd's turn.
Okay. Second verse. Same as the first. Smack, smack.
You turn smack. Strahd shouts, "It is not!" And spiraling up from the shadows
Oh,
come more figures. Though these ones a little less so. You fought them before, so you recognize that like shadows are spawning.
fuck
not
me,
wraiths.
really?
Oh no! Oh,
That's
no.
way worse. For me specifically, but not for anyone else.
Shit.
I consider them lesser undead, so that's why it is.
Yeah, I have 7 stroke rate.
It's because I've seen Lord of the Rings and I got a bunch of baggage from it. Good baggage, though. Like,
Remember when you were there?
yes. Yes, it did.
Damn, oh, that was a champion.
Fuck me, really?
Oh,
You did anger
fuck.
him, so
Fuck me.
that feels appropriate.
Okay, so, see, does that happen after I attack or before I attack?
It technically happens during.
Damn it! Because if I notice that, it's like, okay, yeah, no, I don't care. I don't care
I
about
can
two
get out.
attacks of
It's fine.
opportunity.
I can get out of this. Assuming-
Goddamn.
Okay, this is horrible.
That is a 28 to hit for the first. And 24 for the second.
This one?
Yes. It's 26 damage for the first.
Okay.
That one wasn't full, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I was squinting at the page, like, I thought they'd all taken damage by now.
Ooh, that's bad.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, bad on 4 dice. It's not really that bad.
It's 16 damage on that one.
Glad I had Misty Step prepared because I was
And
ready to
if
pull it up.
that,
and
if
have it be
that
I'd be like,
drops 10 to 25 or less, then he has to make that.
20 and 16?
Yes. No. Was it 20 or 22
I don't know. I was
This
19 and 16.
7 and 7.
7 and 7.
0.
You continue to attack with ferocity, and this undead creature has no choice but to yield to your might, if only somewhat, as it is harmed significantly.
It's not dropped to 25.
It is not.
Okay.
I figured, but you never know.
Then becomes Irene's turn.
Do you need to look at my spell list to know
Nah.
what first level she built? Because I have it right here.
You advised her against fire already.
She's going.
Oh wait, new enemies.
She's going to move up, and she is going to hit one of the shadows with the mace, as advised. She attacks. The shadow proves a little too wily for her.
She attacks the shadow.
Did she attack with advantage? Because I'm technically fighting
No.
I'm wielding my quarterstaff technically.
She
Oh yeah, because of the staff.
strikes at it, harming it.
And before goes Crusader.
You said you did
Four
one
damage.
for a future turn if you need to. There's all my first level spells. I don't know what's going on. That should go through. Pretty sure. And these are just my wizard. These don't have my artifact spells on them. Those are on this sheet only. Because this is public.
These are. I do love
fucking wizard.
artifact in this statement. That the artifact spells is all spells can be used through your tools.
Yeah.
It's cool. Nice.
True. If I need a focus, that is, because Sasha kind of likes to do the
Yeah.
hand motions because I think it's cool. I mean, I get why they added focuses because some people want to cast their spells through a wand like Harry Potter or through a staff like Gandalf. But I always really liked the very, very little art we got of like the hand motions and stuff. I think casting spells is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
I agree.
Like the words and the the.
Creature. Siguror attacks him in turn.
Oh, not when he crits. Oh, but he has disadvantage. Hold on.
Alas.
Let's. Maybe you should.
He does hit, however.
I'll make that a save point right
I would appreciate that.
now. 26.
Nice roll.
Well, I wish that was an attack.
Your hardiness holds even as your flesh gives way, as you take 26 damage. Nope,
But 3 of that is
29 damage, 3 of which is necrotic. However, I have yet to reduce it, so
Okay.
you do take this.
So
29.
26 reduced by
13 plus 3.
So 16.
Ouch.
Man, that's a good chunk of damage.
It then swirls up into the air.
Smack it.
You know, if you take that attack of opportunity, you won't be able to lower someone else's damage. I'm just pointing out. It's up to you. But
It's almost dead.
Oh, hey, do whatever you want. I'm just saying. Don't later in the turn be like, I reduce, and then be like, oh shit.
No. You do raise a good point. I can just kill that thing with a javelin.
Very well. That becomes
You'll get yours.
both Sasha and Israel.
Okay. I am, as a bonus action, going to cast Misty Step. To Misty Step over here and up 10 feet in the air, so that I still give everyone the bonus, but I'm up in the air away from the shadows, because they cannot fly, and I know that for a fact. Since I can't cast a spell with my main action, I am going to draw my gun and shoot a +1 bullet at this flying guy, because you know what? Fuck him. Yeah, it's a +1 bonus, so it'll ignore his non-magical resistance. Using Sahar to Sahar will mark him for me, and then we'll fly up out of range of my fireballs. He's gonna Sahar's during the battle gonna try to stay enough away from me that if I get hit or the group gets hit with a fireball, he won't get hit because that will just kill him. So just note that Sahar's up.
Okay.
Okay. So grants me to 8 action.
Forgetting, do the effects of a chanted, say, crossbow proc with enchanted arrows?
Yeah, they stop.
I was going to respond. I'm not super sure, but now
I got a
Someone else
23
was.
to hit. If that hits.
that is totally hit.
6 damage. Unfortunately. But it is magical.
Because what I did think of for Squig was flame arrows. Bow that ignores the repeating thing. So load 1 bolt, fire.
That would totally work.
But
Do pretty good damage.
Flame arrows don't do damage. They cost 3 minus well.
Hey, can I get your damage again?
6 damage, unfortunately. Oh, wait, I'm done. 7 damage. One of that is radiant.
Radiant, right. I think flame arrows cost a second bolt.
You fire upon it. The weapon pulses powerfully in your hands as the ball rips through the wraith, harming it further.
Okay.
At the same time, Esmeralda does something cool. You mean likely.
She pulls out her gun.
I'm gonna pull out my gun.
Kill all of the shadows.
She casts Flash, kills all shadows, or gets rid of all shadows.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's banishment.
That's a good one too.
I don't do anything to Strahd, right?
Yeah, I mean, but he just uses legendary resistance on it. He wouldn't let himself get banished.
Well, he would have to know he's being banished. And you don't know that you're being banished.
No, you do.
Do you?
That's how legendary resistances work. Once you failed and you know what the effect is, you can choose to save.
They had to spend it before you rolled.
No, it's not like lucky or pointer.
Ah, it's better. Because it's
Because it's
legendary.
a boss thing.
That makes sense. I don't have to agree with it, but it makes sense.
Lackluster turn. 6.
7.
So, thank you.
One of the wraiths is ripped and ripped again, and then like wavers and poops in the night.
Oh, the shadow?
Yeah,
shit.
One of the shadows. My bad. I like wraiths.
No, just 3 more wraiths.
I wish they would.
And their name was Great Cena.
be cool if you could have grapples do damage,
We
like slamming people into things.
then, I believe, come back around to Crack.
It's harder. Did this work out?
Oh, oops.
Yeah.
See, even you're starting to forget about him. He's been doing good so far.
Isn't he up in the air?
He is. I forgot. Is marking with
He's a crossbow.
Or we can move over and attack a shadow.
Yeah. Depends on what you
He's a strong, independent guy. He can do what he wants.
think you will attack the Wraith. He's close. Why not?
Did he choose Forge? Or did we convince you to have him choose Forge?
Well, there's only a little way to find out. He fires a couple shots. One misses, one hits. Successfully managed to kill his friend.
Damn. Okay.
Nice.
They become better with teamwork. Now it becomes Crack's turn.
I guess it's Xanathar's.
Yeah. Suppose we can move over the shadow and attack it.
Oh.
Can't attack me
Do whatever you feel like.
The push and pull.
I'll do that in fun. And move me over to one next to Irene. Alright.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Fleet of foot. Move your position.
That hits most definitely because I got 27. And I got
Does.
more damage on that one, so not that great. But
12?
yeah, 12 damage. I rolled both once on it. Damage die. Oh, damn. 16?
That is it.
Alright.
On shadow.
15 damage on this one. I'll spend a key point to where I can get 2 punches. I guess.
Yeah, start one.
Yeah.
I also just realized if I did the rune fighter, I could also make myself
actually,
large. So I could
Your
shove things
second
that are
attack
huge.
killed it.
Wow.
So you can be attacking, if you don't mind, you can be attacking something else if you would prefer.
Yeah, you can keep both the other one.
Yeah, I'll do that twice. And I got 18 on this one. And
That's it.
I got 9 damage on that one. Yeah. And my last attack. That's a 21. And 7 damage. On that one.
That is it. And it is more damage. Cool. The second of the shadows was no match for your skill and easily dispatched. You then blast at the third shadow, harming it, but not quite destroying it.
Yeah, I did. I forgot.
Strahd sees where he stands.
Why?
Is he? I don't know. Look at the board.
Well,
Recognize
yeah,
usually
I know there's
does
turn economy, but he is boss economy.
Yes, I'm scared at all. This sucks. For him.
The town's dying.
Yeah.
Although our battle is going.
Yes,
much
but
better.
that's not getting him what he wants
That's
right
true.
now.
That's true. You're completely right.
That's the real
I
problem.
don't think there's anything we could do for him that would make him happy, barring killing each other.
Giving him the book would be a nice start.
That probably wouldn't complete him, though.
What's that again? The 20... October what?
What?
What's the day?
19.
19?
Yeah.
Where?
You just edit.
Oh shit.
You just edit that to be whatever date you release it. The episode.
I'm looking for something I thought existed, but I guess it doesn't. That's
The outage on the 21th?
It's been.
On the 21st? It's not happening?
No. It was somebody spread through social media because they were blowing the letter they got out of portion to actually read it. And that the letter said it is
Alright, that's
a
fine.
pole replacement that's going to affect 5 houses.
Oh, okay. Then we're good.
I don't even think it's in our area.
I was worried because I was like, shit, if that's what that means, then I have to get something done fucking tonight.
No, but they have openly said they are going to be planning more outages regularly.
Oh, that's the worst thing I've ever heard.
Hey, they have a monopoly. They can do whatever the fuck they want. We can't do jack shit about it.
Sucks. It's almost like there's no...
I think we're all aware.
Yeah.
The spell I thought he had totally doesn't have it. What's Strahd do right
Is he casting another spell?
I don't think his horse is amazing.
I think he will cast another spell.
Okay. I cast counter spell at 4th level. If his spell is 4th level or lower, it is automatically countered. And if he tries to counter my counter spell and he only uses a 3rd level slot, then he has to make a check because mine is 4th level.
Can you
I'm
counter spell
hoping-
while you're casting a spell? Because it's casting 2
Yeah.
spells.
Yeah, you can because you're using the reaction to cast a spell.
Oh, it's 2
The
spells.
rule, but the rule explicitly states you can't cast a spell with your action and your bonus action because, yeah, it's specific to casting a spell with a bonus action. In fact, if a wizard has an action surge, I think they can do it that way too. But don't quote me on that. But I think that's how it works. I think it's specifically bonus actions.
Again, blackness laced with violet swirls around him as he growls and snarls. Again, Sasha attempts to head him off. I do believe I will need a check.
It's harder than 4th level. Fuck me. Okay.
Probably made the
It's a
check
waste of a
easier.
4th level spell slot.
Probably made the check easier.
No, it doesn't affect the check.
Oh, it doesn't?
Nope.
Oh.
I'm gonna lucky that. 22 again. And that last lucky.
Again, he is dispelled. He is beside himself.
Potentis!
I believe Sasha is right. I believe that is the best you can do.
He looks again over his shoulder. The cries in the town have quieted somewhat. However, now there are a couple of sources of light from the town that it didn't have before.
Uh-oh.
The smell of smoke. He whirls back and says, "You will not leave Krezek alive!" And then he whips around and becomes a mist.
Huh. He bailed.
And
I did not
departs.
expect that.
He ran. Okay. That doesn't provoke an attack. Does
No.
it? Is teleport?
Entering his gaseous form does not do that. I assume it's a
don't believe
gaseous
it
form.
does.
I don't know.
Okay. Now that is dealt with, I'm going to immediately knock down, fucking open that goddamn gate and start running. 'Cause I don't know about y'all.
There's one shadow left.
Oh, there is a shadow left. God damn it.
Yeah, so they gotta kill that and then get down to the town as fast as humanly possible. Someone should grab the horses. Because I'm going to summon a horse, but you guys...
Right.
Because we're 50 minutes away on foot.
We really need to train those horses where we can
It is
fucking...
Siguror's turn.
We really need to train those goddamn horses where we can just whistle and call the goddamn
Siguror,
horses.
the horses!
That's 40 speed. I got 45.
You can say in character, let me.
Yeah. Let me.
Faster. You can just do...
Go ahead, just let me.
Alright.
As pointed out, there's still the one shadow to deal with. So
So
I'm still going off of initiative.
I'll stow the thigh bone and pull out the blood spear.
That thing's undead too.
Yeah, but these things... I'm remembering these things are weaker. Blood spear may kill it. Bonus hit points.
Okay,
We're
no,
about to
that,
complete
sorry,
it.
that makes sense. That makes sense.
I
I
too
didn't think about that.
didn't think about that and was surprised.
Oh, garbage. So first one is a 16 and a 13.
I believe both of those are hits. On paper. What do you know? Those are both hits.
Okay. Really? 11.
Okay.
Much better. And 16.
2 thrusts are more than enough to destroy something lesser than the foe that has already departed from you.
8.
It is destroyed. The enemy's silent. You are free to mount up and do what you can about town next time. But for now, I am David Harper. I am GM Session. I am also artist David Harper. On the internet. Twitter and Instagram specifically. What about yourself?
I'm Marvelous. You can find more of me at Lights Camera Initiative on Twitter, where I speak for some of the people some of the time. Additionally, starting, it will have been a couple weeks by the time this comes out, but there is a change. I will be on the Tainted Lands, it sounds like on Monday now, and it might be every other week, because some stuff is coming up with the Dungeon Master, so I don't know. Still, you should check it out. Shit just got super crazy. And we might all be hung and executed. So, yeah. And yeah, coming December, you can catch me running a game of monsters and other childish things for Fuck Cancer Roll Dice. That's about it. That's all I got going on right now. Oh, no. I'm also going to be doing another Halloween Jackbox games on Chromatic Chimera channel. So check that out too.
Neat. I was going to say it's quite a lot, and then you had more.
Even if you're hard of hearing, because they do use auto-subbing technology. It's a weird computer thing.
How thoughtful.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing they do for their channels. So,
Raytel, is there anything that you want to share or remark to the audience before we leave?
I didn't think this place could get worse. And then it did. For people that died.
yeah.
But it's doing a really good job of, I don't want to fucking be here, this place sucks, I want to leave.
Where the hell was the abbot the entire time? That he could have fucking helped.
Well, I think he's helped enough, considering I think what he did started this. I mean, yeah, we told him about it, but...
Perhaps you will find out. But, until then, see ya.
Bye.